Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheen Aljamain. Just a question asker, man. I'm not important, but we got some people here that are very important this morning. First, we have Badger. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a beautiful and blessed day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And brother Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Pete.
Doing good this morning. DKM Radio, Morning Glow. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, doing good, doing good. We're gonna jump right into our topic of the day, man. It's almost 7:30. We're gonna jump right into our topic of the day. And I'm gonna ask this question. Very simple question, but yet very complicated. We touched on it before, but I said we was gonna revisit this thing because we didn't go as deep into it as I
Mm,
hoped that we would have. So let me go to Badger. I'm gonna come to you first, Badger. Badger,
yeah.
what is constructive communication?
Oh, an open mind to be able to sit there and actually discuss something to find a solution
Mm-hmm.
and not let trauma and judgment and things of that nature cloud the the mind because you and a lot of the topics we have on this uh on the show and stuff it's it can get interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um
Do you stand right there for a second? Do you think everybody listen to each other effectively?
I,
Be honest. Be
I
honest.
think it's topic dependent.
Mm-hmm.
um there's a few times I'm guilty of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things, especially from using the word religious point of views, that I can't stand and I don't vibe with.
Mm-hmm.
What the spiritual stuff, on the other hand, which uh, I vibe with 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
the really deep, uh, a lot of the spiritual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
However, I am respectful. I'm open minded enough to understand that that's the way some people believe and things like that. And they're just passionate about certain things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if I don't agree with it, as long as they
Okay.
don't try to shove it down my throat, I'm not going to try to shove anything down theirs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Let me go to our brother Pete. We got somebody else on the phone line this morning, and we're gonna get to you in just 1 second. Pete, asking a question, and this is our topic of the day. We're gonna talk about this thing until the wheels fall off. Then we go. If we need to go to something else, we will. But Pete, what is constructive? And I put that word in there. What is constructive communication?
By definition, constructive communication is a powerful tool to use when dealing with conflicts to prevent them from happening.
Mm-hmm.
This type of communication addresses the conflict positively and clearly between communicators. It
Mm-hmm.
builds understanding, provides sufficient detail for full awareness, and provides clear information.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the technical definition. Destructive communication, positive communication, where you're not biased by relationships or respect a person, where you're looking at the truth and the facts of the matter, and you're focusing on the positive aspects to emphasize an interpretation and a comprehension or solution or resolution,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep things from getting out of hand, where somebody goes too far to the left or too far to the right.
Mm-hmm.
But again, in order to have constructive, which is leaning toward one definition, and then communication another. Certainly, if we're not listening, we're not considering, we're not turning off the voices in our head and within ourselves and entertaining what's being stated, then we have no communication. So constructive communication is positive communication. Not, Raheem, your breath stinking, you got crust in your eye and clothes are wrinkled and your breath stink. They're not coming like that. It's coming with, we have some issues and let's sit down and see if we can discuss these issues, get an understanding about these issues, meet somewhere positive in the middle before we draw a line, and then we have a permanent impediment to positive progress in communication.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Toya with a T, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, sis. I need to ask you the question, and I want to hear your whole heart on this. And we're gonna dig into this thing as deep as we can today. And like I said, we're gonna talk about it till the wheels fall off. Then we may talk about something else. But this is our topic for the day. And the question is, what is Toya with a T? What is constructive communication?
Well, Raheem, I need to talk to you about something, okay?
Okay.
Now, you do a really great job when it comes to bringing on the show. You do a really good job with issuing out subjects. I love it. However, we need to talk about this time thing. When we talk about this time thing, so the expectation is that we expect to see you at a specific time. And when you say said time, that's the time we expect to see you on. So now I understand, things happen, we got life going, but when you're trying to be on time, it's best for us as well as the listeners that whatever time you say, that's the time that you be on. So I don't want you to take this as no negative criticism. Just, in order for you to be successful, and I want you to be able to get the absolute best out of everything, and you have to maintain and think about the different reputation and how people are going to perceive you. And if you want to be successful, I just think that's something you should think about. So,
that's good.
I just want to leave you with that.
Okay.
Constructive criticism.
Okay, that's good. Now the receiver, you have different receivers. I'm gonna play the part of different receivers. First receiver, positive. Thank you very much, Toya. I really appreciate that, and that's something I certainly will take into account. I didn't realize that it was an issue, and now that obviously it is an issue, I have to look at this thing and do my part to make sure that I do start turn the light on at 7 o'clock when it's time supposed to be turned on. I need to do that. That's the positive side. Now, the negative side.
Normal. That's normal. Here we go.
Okay. Now here go the other side. Well, what? How you gonna tell me what time I gotta start my show? I start my show when I get ready, and all this negative stuff that come along. That's the other side. Then you got man, it's so many different levels, and I loved how you did that because there's so many different ways a person. If you're gonna have constructive communication, you have to first listen to what the person is saying. Eat the meat, spit out the bone, and deal with it accordingly. Now, are there any facts in what's being said to you? Are there any facts? Now, what we dealing with the situation? Yes, there's facts there because the show supposed to start from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock. Now we get started even at 7:02. We late. If we get started at 7:02, now if you deal with it from that angle right there, are there any facts? Listen to what the person is saying to you. Are there any facts? Don't listen to what this person is saying for a defense. Because a lot of times what happens is we'll listen to somebody for a defense, for a counter. Now I'm gonna counter what you just said. I'm gonna take what you said, I'm gonna throw it in the garbage, and I'm gonna give you something else. What about this person's point? What about the point they're trying to make? What if every night you come, I don't want to talk to you about something. Every night you come to bed, you don't take no shower before you get into bed. I don't like that. And I don't want you coming to bed with all that dirt from the whole day and putting it in the bed. You should take a shower before you come to bed. Now your feet are dirty. Your sheets are dirty. You rub them old dirty, crusty feet against me. I don't like that. Now, Toya, you played the other side of the coin.
No, we's married. You said we's married. Oh no, I'm gonna get you. We's married. No, honey. Where you going with them dirty feet? You're not gonna get in this bed. No, baby. You finna go wash some feet first. Where you gonna sleep on the couch and you better not put my feet on the couch. Now you don't get that kind of treatment when you husband. When you
See,
husband, you get the business. You hear me?
mm-hmm,
Those are for people outside.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Kids, teachers, church folk, radio show. That's it. But you husband, oh no, I'm finna get you where you so funkified. Where you going? You're not finna get nippy and you smell like a barrel of Bo Weasels. No, you're not.
Exactly, exactly.
You ain't nothing constructive when you get married. But you do got to be mindful of when you're outside. I ain't gonna tell no truth because people do get offended very easily. For
Yeah.
instance, right
Mm-hmm.
in our field, the food field, people come in with body odor,
Mm.
and it's hard to tell people. Like Pete said, breath stank, crust in your eyes, smelling it out. They told you how you gonna tell? Come here, baby, sugar. Come here, baby. I need to talk to you for a second. All right, sugar. Listen, I need you to know first and foremost, I need you to know I love you with all my heart, and I don't want you to get offended when I say this, but I smell you.
Mm-hmm. And
You
it's not.
need we need to go get some deodorant or something because your coworkers, I know they're not telling you, and don't think that they're embarrassed or ashamed, but you smell kind of on the Dorito crunchy side, baby. We're gonna have
Mm.
to fix that, sugar. What we gonna do? What we need to get you something? Or whatever. Oh, but Miss Toya, I don't smell nothing. Well, baby, maybe your nose is broke, but we smell you, and we
Mm-hmm.
need to go ahead and fix this. Sugar, anything I need to do? We need to get her a shirt or something else
Mm-hmm.
because we can't have that. See, sometimes some subjects are very hard to talk about, but sometimes you just got to do it. I'm not going to let you go nowhere, no booger hanging out your nose,
Mm-hmm.
coal in your eye, and you just smelling funky. So, again, it's still constructive, but like you said, you got to worry about the receiver, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just can't be scared of what the receiver going to feel or say.
Exactly. Let me go back to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? We putting a lot of stuff out there, man, and this is good.
Man, it's something that I've tried to like. It can. I think it's hard to have constructive conversations from time to time, especially depending on the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it's having to remember that what a person can bring to the table can can be very important,
Mm-hmm.
and it's learning not to fall into a they shouldn't be here or they why are they even talking,
Mm.
especially when they're invited.
Mm-hmm.
So there's man, dude, the more I'm thinking about it, the more it's like it's one of those wild things to me when because there's a lot of conversations that needs to be had, but it's so
Mm-hmm.
hard to have them. You have people that are go ahead.
It. I'm not gonna say it's hard to have the conversation. It may be hard to start the conversation. That may be the issue. How do you start the conversation? And some people don't know how to start the conversation. Don't know what it takes, what the ingredients are to starting that effective communication with someone. But some things have to be. You can't just let it. If you let it waver, it's not gonna get any better. You have to talk about it. But
Yeah.
go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like the one topic that I brought up. I think it was last week or the week before. Um, about hatred and the use of um different that things that people use to push their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no matter what it is, and there's just man, there depending on an individual's experience,
Mm-hmm.
that will always be a determining factor of how constructive of conversation can actually be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if you're talking to someone and they're stuck in a mindset, you get to a point where it's not able to be constructive.
Mm-hmm. How do you deal with those situations?
A lot of times I'll either go be quiet or just walk away, because I mean, you can
Is
only
that,
say so much.
but even with that, is that being constructive? Is that being a constructive? If that's constructive communication, when you just walk away and just shut down and not voice your opinion as to how you feel?
That I find is probably one of the hardest decisions, because it's having to weigh it
Mm-hmm.
and figure out if the person that's listening, are they actually going to listen and hear what you got to say, or is it or is the person or people in a mindset of just so that can be so polar opposite that they're
Mm-hmm.
just going to fight you tooth and nail the entire time, no matter what you say. Like they're there.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
I mean, I could give examples, but I don't want to do that at the moment.
Okay. Let me go to Pete. Pete, what's on your heart, brother? If that be the case, and you realize that I'm talking to this person, I'm trying to voice my opinion, I'm trying to tell them how I feel about this situation, and they're shutting me down. They're shutting me down. Do you just walk away from it? Do you just give up on that line of communication and go to something else, or just not talk to that person at all? Or if that is the case, how are you going to rectify the situation? If they're doing something that you just totally don't like, you try to talk to them, and they don't want to listen. They want to be defensive and stuff like that, but they're still doing it.
Well, it depends on the relationship, and it also depends on your approach to how you initiate the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
If you're basing it off of constructive communication, then your approach is positive, it's helpful,
Mm-hmm.
it has a purpose, and it's a meaningful conversation to a comprehension of the subject matter, and it's not done in the intent of offense, hostility, harm, or danger or hurt. So your approach is key. And if someone is still resistant,
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about admonition and correction, and how no correction seemed cheerful at the time, but the correction wouldn't come if care and concern and love wasn't there. So we have to meet individuals where they are. Communication is a science, like most things, and it involves a skill. So we
Mm-hmm.
would hope that we approach it properly, and that we're able to intercede and deliver it in a way that it can be received.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, if all of that is there and it is still resisted, there's not much that one can do other than to attempt to lay down the principles of the subject, the conversation at hand, and leave it with the person. You leave them with some positive energy and put some prayer behind it, in hopes and belief that it will come to them within themselves and on their own.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that you can do when an individual is resistant to criticism or correction or admonition, if you would, and they're still resistant.
Mm-hmm.
But also know that the way this thing is set up, this form of living, the obstacles and the impediments to progress in our individual lives are challenges or situations that we individually have to deal with respect to our own self in this form of living. And until we overcome and address those issues, they will continue
Mm-hmm.
to reoccur.
Exactly. Over and over and over and over again. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis.
Oh, I'm sorry. I cut Toya off right quick because we didn't tell Princess Toya, we love you, Toya.
I love y'all too.
Good deal.
Well,
Good.
don't forget, we got to come here and say good morning, Rico Jackson. I don't know if he on today. Good morning and happy birthday, Rico Jackson. Let me just throw that out there.
Hit that milestone.
That's right.
Yeah, he hit that milestone.
I'll be there in 15 years. I'll be 50 in 15. Okay.
There you
But
go.
no, I'm just playing.
15. Okay. 15. 15. She said.
Constructive. There we go. Constructive criticism,
okay,
right, girl?
okay.
Now you know.
Come on, tell the truth.
Now you know. You ain't no 30, girl. Now don't get me wrong, girl. You look good for your age, right?
But stop.
Your body ain't that bad either, but be honest about your age. Shouldn't be sad or ashamed of your age.
I say
most people don't make it your age.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Instead of getting mad or getting frustrated, you should be glad that you made it to the age that you are. We can turn things into destructive criticism or destructive communication. That's the exact opposite of positive communication.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we need to have it. It's hard. Listen. It's hard to tell a woman that she needs to act her age. It's hard to tell a man that they need to act or even dress their age.
Come on.
But when you find in the world of management like me, right? I don't know if y'all look around, but service sucks everywhere. Y'all been to some of these restaurants lately?
Yes, Lord.
Y'all see some of these kids and how they act and how they carry on? That's because people scared to say something. People scared to use their criticism and correct people. Because that's a key in the management world. And this is something that parents use too. Parents might not know they use it, but positive and negative communication. Putting somebody down. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, when you're talking about them cleaning up their room, you don't have to judge at them in front of everybody. There are certain communication skills that we use that can be used from a bullying aspect or can be used from a great aspect. But the fact of the matter is that it's hard for a lot of people to focus on the truth. It's hard for a lot of people. I'm talking about just the truth. I'm talking about you signed up to be a manager, assistant, direct people. They tell people what to do. And now you're scared to tell them they can't wear them long, goofy-ass eyelashes.
Hey.
Okay. You can't wear them goofy eyelashes to sweep the floor with. Look like you finna sweep the floor, girl. Where you going with them eyelashes? Looking like Mr. Snuffleupagus by the eye. What you doing? Scared to talk about them old long, goofy nails. But that's your job. So this is something that we suffer from in society. We suffer from being able to safely and effectively communicate issues, whether they're positive or negative, to people, even if it's our job. Even if it's our kids. We so scared to tell the truth, speak up the truth, correct the truth. We are out of order again. Here we go. Oh no, I don't want to tell my kids they got to be straight. They got to be with a girl and they're a boy. I'll be with a boy. And they got to be. No, I ain't gonna tell them that. I'm gonna let them be what they wanna be. You know what I'm saying? So we have an issue with truth, period, first and foremost in America.
Yeah.
We all suffer from Stockholm syndrome, first and foremost. But then secondly, we lack the boldness or the skills that it takes to effectively communicate positive communication, even when it comes to negative things. Son, you shouldn't be rapping like that. Son, you shouldn't be dressing like daughter like dressing like that, daughter. Or you know what I'm saying? We just can't do it, and we let it fall by the wayside. So I noticed that that's something. And if you look around, even in management, that's something we've dropped the ball on as a society. Because we can just do anything anymore. And when you communicate how you feel about something positively, it's an issue. You know what I mean? So I think that when it comes to communication, we have to be able to receive it and give it. But I think receiving it most importantly. If y'all can call each other B's and H's, and I say this all the time, y'all can call each other B's and H's, then when I tell you, girl, if you don't stop doing this, that, and the third, you run into human resources. How? And y'all calling each other B's and H's. You know what I'm saying? So but society today, we have a real issue when it comes to being effective communicators, especially when reinforcing or trying to, change certain and specific habits. And that's something we got to work on, because everybody's scary now. Nobody want to say nothing to nobody because they're offended. Oh, they're going to shoot me, or they're going this, or they're going that. But again, that's why some of the youth is out of control, because people are scared to give them, communicate, or
Yep.
say something to them, and they
Mm-hmm.
feel that. Like animals, they feel fear. They
Mm-hmm.
know that people not gonna say nothing, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. But you got the right one over here, baby.
Exactly. I'll tell you in a New York second. In a New York second, I'll let you know. That's
That's
just
right.
what it is. What that was when somebody called, a lot of time when they called in, they announced their name because the system tell them to announce their name and stuff like that. Um, in the future, you don't have to announce your name. Just I know you're there because of the fact it comes up on the screen, so you don't have to announce your name. But that's our brother though. That's brother Joseph. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, sir.
Hey, Joseph. We asked.
And to the family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
What
actually we asking a
what's the
question this
question?
morning. We asking a question this morning. What is and from your standpoint, what is constructive communication?
Oh, constructive communication.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's trying to guide the communication into a positive direction so that both can be edified, or that we can have um, healthy, honest dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I don't, and I agree with I agree with my sister, that in this climate that we're in, we don't always say what needs to be said. Sometimes we want to bite our tongues on certain things so that we don't hurt people's feelings. And I guess, having filters is a good thing, because we can't say everything that comes to mind or to heart, because I don't think that would be good for a healthy conversation. But at the same time, we can't ignore the obvious,
Mm-hmm.
things that we know is wrong or that is counterproductive. Uh, then we should speak about it. But I guess we speak about it not to provoke um, people. Scripture talks about not provoking our children to anger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It does.
It's a delicate process. You know, it's a delicate process. I remember someone in my family saying that when she was very little, I mentioned um, something about her not becoming overweight, or the the problem with obesity and the health challenges it could cause down the road. And I was told, now that that person is older, I was told that she felt I was fat shaming, or um, that I really hurt her
Mm-hmm.
psychologically,
Mm-hmm.
which was not my intent.
Mm-hmm.
My intent was to convey to her some healthy information about diabetes in our family,
Mm-hmm.
uh because we've lost a lot of loved ones to diabetes in our family.
Yes.
And um, I think obesity may contribute to that. I'm not a scientist. I can only go by what I hear the medical community say. But anyway, um, I try to encourage healthy living so that we can live a long time on the earth, and you know be able to make a difference before we leave here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
all I got to say about that.
Good deal. Good deal. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Well, hearing hearing what a lot of people are saying, um, I'm just thinking about some of our previous conversations and things. Um, Everything from talking about football to systematic racism to gay people and different things like that, and honestly thinking how constructive some of those conversations actually were, because sometimes they didn't feel constructive at all,
Mm.
um, due to mindsets. And that's what I was speaking on earlier. Because, like I said, to me, constructive a constructive conversation to me always ends with a solution or solutions that could be done. And to me, there are some conversations that no solution will probably ever be found.
Mm. Do you really believe
With
that?
certain folks, yeah, I do, unfortunately.
Mm.
I mean, I can give an example if you'd like.
Go ahead.
All right. Every single KKK member no longer being racist. The sentence, all gay people are an abomination or condemned to hell. And I mean everyone. Nobody ever saying that sentence again. Um, shoot. Folks that are in power.
Now, are we confusing constructive communication with taking away a person's right to voice their opinion and to have open speech and to say what it is that they feel? Are we confusing the two?
I mean, if you're telling someone, that's my thing,
Mm-hmm.
is when that conversation is brought up, a lot of times those people are allowed to speak their mind and how they feel and stuff and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they will not hear anything of the other side.
But see, my thing is, I don't want to. We're towing the line of that confusion right now. I think we're towing that line very, very, very strongly. Constructive communication is one. I
I
think is one thing is to have constructive communication and to have that and to listen. Communication the way I was taught, and maybe I was taught wrong, but communication is you have to have a sender and a receiver, and those roles have to change. I have to sit. I have to be willing to sit and listen. Like the example that Toya gave this morning, I think was amazing. How she said that and her delivery to me when she said that, it wasn't hurtful. It wasn't to harm me in any kind of way. But me as a receiver, I have to be able to receive what she said. And like I said, eat the meat and spit out the bone. And look at what she said. There's a ball of clay on the table now. Look at it. Are there any facts in what she said? And if there are, I need to be able to go in and fix what my part in that. Not just disregard what she said or try to throw away what she said or become defensive as to what she said. What do you say to that?
well, sounds like to me it's in the same category of what I was saying. However, her presentation was clean and polite and nice, and
It's not gonna always be that
mine's
way.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's very blunt and to the point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so, however, this is what I was meaning earlier. And that's why I was saying I agree with them. If I
Mm-hmm.
would have presented that in a whole different way that was more like Toya, that would have probably been an entirely different response.
Mm.
What
How would it, what would what would you if you had to change
I don't
excuse me any
know.
part of her if you had to change any part of her delivery, what would it have been that you think would have given a different response? Or is it from it does it depend on the person that's bringing it? Maybe you could be very polite as she was. Do you think that your delivery, saying it the same way she said it with the same approach, would have been different than hers?
For sure.
Why?
I don't talk like that.
But so you would have came a little more harsh. You would have came a little more aggressive.
I would have just been blunt. That's
See,
me.
there you have it. There you have it.
What but this goes back to wasn't Pete, who was the other um
You talking
that
about
also
Joseph? Joseph?
was it Joseph? Okay.
Yes.
So and that's the other thing. So sugarcoating always seems to or what I call sugarcoating. And that super polite way of doing things, like always. This is my perception from my heart. I
Okay.
can't stand it when it's done to me
Okay.
at
So let
all.
me ask
I
you this
prefer
question.
blunt.
Badger, let me ask you this question, and we certainly got to move on because we got a lot of people. I don't want this to become the Raheem and the Badger show.
No, I
So,
agree.
but my thing is, the way I see it, and I can't give you your opinion. You have your own. You have to feel the way you feel about it, and so that that's cool. But my thing is this right here: if I see a young kid walking around with their pants sagging, I think I would get a better result if I go up to him. Hey, young brother, come in. Let me speak to you for a second, man. Look here, come in. Let me talk to you for a second. Pull him to the side, man. I see how you dress and everything, man. You kind of got your pants sagging a little bit, brother. What is it? Why is it you feel it necessary for you to have your pants sagging like that, man? Explain to me why you're doing this. Or I will probably get a better result. I'll probably get a more hostile result if I walk up to him. Man, you look here, man. Why don't you pull your pants up, man? Don't nobody want to see your nasty, filthy drawers. Pull your pants up, boy. What's wrong with you? Now,
That's the one I've seen work the most.
No, man.
I mean, it's a kid. Kids and adults, that's different categories. If a kid grew up hard, sometimes they respond better to hard. So, like, it's individual.
But see, if my whole thing is this right here. Even in a situation like that, Badger, we got to move on. I come right back to you. But my thing is this right here. Even in a situation, if you meet this kid on the street, you don't know what their background is. How do you know? How do you know where they came from? How do you know? I mean, you could probably look at them a certain way, you say, and try to guess what but you could be wrong. You could be wrong. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis. You just said something. Toya?
Me and that mute button. Yeah, no, not when you're a stranger. Certain lingo is okay when you're already a little bit familiar with the person. You know what I'm saying? When you're an elder to them, when you receive them. But all these guys walking down the street, you better not walk up to some of them talking about, boy, pull your pants up. That's not how you do it, because it's about respect. Just like with an officer, you think because you're an officer, you can talk to somebody any kind of way. And that's not the case. You have to deal with people and speak to people accordingly. Period. Ain't no picking and choosing who and how and what. That ain't how you talk to people. But even if it's acceptable to you, then that's to you. You don't take that as the norm, because you can't talk to everybody like that. The only reason why I know this is because God delivered me from it. Because I would have a reckless mouth on me, and I don't care who you is or how you feel about it. It's the truth. That was my real thing. It's the truth. But like, because can't no human do nothing with me. But like God told me, you ain't got to say the truth all the time. And it's a way that you say things, Toya. You come across ineffective when you speak to some people, Toya. You're not getting your point across, Toya, because you're coming at them at this angle. Some things you have to do differently. And again, the only reason why I'm taking heed is because God told me, because can't no human do nothing with me. But I've been delivered from this kind of behavior. I've been delivered from so aggressive talk, and I continue to work on not being so aggressive when I speak, but I'm speaking from a professional point of view. I'm talking about from a professional point of view. When you're in a management position, when you're in a position of authority who leads over people, and you are correcting their behavior. You cannot say it like that. Even if your mama and your homeboy say it like that, you will not be received well in a position of authority or leadership saying it like that if you're a stranger. That is something you do once you invest time and care and love into a person, and they know what the standard is. You went over the standard with them, and now here they come trying to drop the standard. Boy, how many times I told you don't come in here with the pants down? You understand what I'm saying? Because you haven't invested enough in a stranger for you to be able to say something, and you don't never know what's on somebody's mind. Again, another thing I teach my team is that when you're dealing with people, you deal with them with the utmost respect and professionalism, because you never know what is on their mind. And if they get out of pocket, you come get me and let me handle it. And if I need to get hood, I can and I will, but I know how to handle it from the most professional, most tender, most care places. And if you get hard, I'm going to get hard right along with you. So do not say what you think you feel, what you think is on your mind. Don't think, do what I asked you to do. Because when you're communicating and dealing with people, you don't know where they are or how they're feeling or what. So you're going to have to be very careful and mindful.
Yep.
What
exactly.
And how you say things to them.
Exactly. Hey, look here, we got the birthday fella here. We got the birthday fella here. Happy birthday, young man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man.
25.
Happy birthday,
25, man. I'm a day over 25, man.
Look here. We talking about
grade a little earlier.
We talking about constructive communication. Now, how does that line into not telling the truth? Is it? Yeah. 25.
The only day, look, Raheem, it's the only day nobody can constructively criticize or destructively criticize you. Should be on your born day.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave me alone. Leave them folks alone on the day they were born and made another year. Leave them, let them have. If they want to be a unicorn, let them be if they feel like it. I probably wouldn't fool with him no more, but good to know he wanted to be a unicorn.
Exactly. And Rico, what we're talking about this morning, brother, I want to get your take on this. We're talking about what is constructive communication? What is constructive communication? Do we have that?
I mean, some people can and some people do, but when you ask what it is, it's communication that's supposed to produce a good outcome, a positive outcome, or communication that's supposed to improve a situation or maybe diffuse a situation. So, when you start talking about constructive, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to look at the meaning of that word constructive, you know what I'm saying? It's breaking down the things that may be flawed, or actually breaking down and identifying the positives or the pluses to a certain situation. You can have constructive communication about a person's product or just the way that they talk, and to get to that point of where it's constructive, you always have to be mindful of how you introduce it, how you deliver it to that person. Sometimes you have to find out how emotional that person is or how proud of what they have done is or how strong they stand on it. You can tell probably how they're going to respond when you tell them that they're wrong and how they acted or something is wrong with their idea or invention, their product. Sometimes I find myself, if I see somebody has a product, but I see a flaw in it, I'll ask them a question that will make them have to address that flaw that they don't know how to address. And then they'll say, you know what? Oh, I didn't think that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I may let them know again, look, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to start getting paid for this, but, I saw that and I delivered it to you that way so you wouldn't get offended. I got a few more ideas you could probably use that'll benefit you if you want, if you don't mind that advice. That's constructive communication. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people look at criticism as something bad. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have to be careful not to say what's constructive criticism. Because if they automatically see criticism as something negative, then they already gonna receive it, in a negative way. So constructive communication means, you know what I'm saying, okay, let me break down these things that may be able to help you improve whatever it is you're trying to get across.
Okay, good deal. We got a guest that's coming on with us right now. This young lady, man, I've been knowing her for a minute now. I don't even know how long we've been knowing each other, man. She's like a sister to me, and she wants to come on. Look, there she go. That's my sister right there. She want to come on and talk about her business. She got a business venture that she's embarking in right now. Great business venture. Bring on to let her have an opportunity to talk to everybody. I think she got a blinker on too. I think that's a little blinker on.
Yes, that's what that is. My apologies, Raheem. So I ended up on drop-off duty this morning for 2 of the 3 that are in school right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good deal. So how you been?
I've been doing really well. My goodness. And yes, it's been a long time. So I literally was thinking about that. I have known you now for 19 years.
Wow. I told you, I know it's been a while. That's my sister right there. Exactly.
It's been a while.
Exactly.
It's been awesome.
We used to go to church together, man. Wonderful church, man. Are you still a member of Mount Pilgrim?
Yes, I am.
Yes,
I am.
yes.
So MPBC, Empowering Ministries.
Absolutely.
Yes.
See, they done advanced since I was there. You know, they moved on to now they got this old fancy name. But I'm gonna tell you
I know,
something.
right? I know. Well, we still kept the MPBC just to pay homage to, the founders, the
Exactly.
elders, and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So it's still Mount Pilgrim Baptist Church if you look it up. But
Yeah,
we've got
exactly.
some great things. And so I would just say, based on the simple fact that it's all about service
Mm-hmm.
and availing ourselves to whatever God has called you to, right? Please forgive the blinkers again. I'm
It's
almost
okay.
back home.
There you go.
So the business that I'm partnering with is Viseo, and I love that it actually means servant in
Mm-hmm.
Greek.
Okay. Wow.
So that's just one of the things that really aligned with me. But we have several philanthropic endeavors, and so even though business is great, this is a capitalistic society, and you do need money to have different things that you need just to survive. So
Mm-hmm.
part of what we're doing as part of giving back is that we've partnered with Hearts and Hands for Humanity.
Wow, that's good.
And while we're helping people here, we
Mm-hmm.
are also utilizing some resources that we are blessed to have to help provide clean water for I just found out the correct pronunciation. So Tanzania. Normally we say Tanzania, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Tanzania.
didn't even know that until this year. But after some of our people went on the most recent trip, Ashley Larson, love her to death. She's one of the founders' spouses. She said she actually learned that it's Tanzania. And
Didn't know that.
originally, honestly, Raheen, originally it was like, oh, okay, that's great. We give clean things like that. But after really, really listening to, some of the social work from the area and things like that, clean water is more than what clean water is here. We kind of take things for granted, right? And of course,
Absolutely.
there are different lawsuits going on right now
Mm-hmm.
with some places that
Mm-hmm.
don't have clean water.
Absolutely.
And we get to do stuff like that here in America, but
Mm-hmm.
over there, clean water can be the difference between, okay, some of the young girls, for example, having to walk miles and miles and miles to wells
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to going to school, so that eventually one day they can do some things to really start businesses for themselves. Like
Mm-hmm.
one of the other ventures that my personal team is doing, where we're supporting some of the ladies in Nema Village. But what it can also mean is the difference between some of the, I don't want to say unwanted, but unplanned pregnancies
Mm-hmm.
that actually come from some of the ladies being raped when they're
Wow.
walking all those miles and miles. And so Hearts and Hands for Humanity, who we partner with, they strategically drill the wells with us around the schools.
Karen, I'm good to put you on the spot. Watch this.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
Okay. Let me test this out. All right. Yeah. So, all right. What I was saying was we strategically get to drill these deep, deep wells to provide the fresh water to one, stop thousands of people from dying every day, especially the children. I think it's like 2,500 typically, statistically, will perish each day from unclean water.
Wow.
And then we're keeping the numbers, helping to keep the numbers of rapes down, which is something that I didn't even think about. All that from a well? Wow. Wow.
It's amazing how one thing lines up with another, and it comes together in a beautiful way. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hey, Raheen, that's wild what she just said, because we talk about conditions and how the stress and trauma from conditions can create other dysfunctional behaviors.
Yes.
She just showed just how water can prevent those certain behaviors. Now look in America, the conditions that are created, and the poverty and the lack of access and exposure that goes on in our communities, and then we ask the same questions when that solution is right in our faces. We know that trauma and stress is causing a lot of this activity and behavior with our young Black people in our communities. along with other influences from media and people with money that give certain messages. We know this thing, the rappers and actors, we know the influence they have. But those conditions, the lack of just clean water, is preventing the difference between logical behavior and dysfunctional behavior in women being safe. Now, if they have that problem just from lack of access of resources that you need to survive, man, imagine when you have the lack of resources and then you are intentionally having your knee put on your neck, or you're intentionally being, you know what I'm saying, gunned down for jogging through neighborhoods, man. You start acting like you don't know which way to go, any which way but up, or any which way but loose. And so that's big that she says that, because it shows around the world, especially when it comes to people that look like us.
Yes.
There are certain conditions that shouldn't exist in 2022. Third world countries shouldn't exist in 2022. Not when you got people worth billions and flying to the edge of space for fun.
Exactly.
You know, so that shows you the conditions, man. I think that's real deep that she said that could solve that problem. You know, for women, just having clean drinking water and access to clean drinking water, man. It's amazing, but that's something that we need to really dig deep into and think about. Those impacts, not only around the world, but here in America, those things that we notice. We don't pay attention to. We take it for granted and say, well, you know, they can just go out and get it, or they just making bad choices. No, they influenced by a lack of hope, a lack of reward. You know, there's so many things that they lack when they have access and resources, exposure to positive things. You know, they lack knowledge. You know,
absolutely. Let me go back to Aaron. Aaron, tell us a little bit more about your business and what you got. You got something real special that you want to offer to everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's baby boy. So I have a lot of life going on. So because of things like this, I have a heart for. Can you all hear me over him? He has strong lungs. He's going to be a singer. Okay.
Like his mom. You were saying.
Hey, yes. So my two youngest, they definitely do sing, and they definitely cried like that when they were ready for milk and stuff. So the thing that I love is that, you know, just like the gentleman was saying, there are different conditions that arise. I don't necessarily worry about that, but I have 2 daughters and 2 sons now, and I'm so thankful. That makes me want to give back. So with the business that I partner with, being Viseo, I absolutely love the opportunity right now to basically, I'm focusing on one of our solutions. So coffee is the #1 drink around the world, right? And it's not the most healthy the way we tend to consume it here, if we consume it in America, because honestly, before this, I did not. But we have a healthy coffee drink, and we partner that as our hero product. So $1 from every box is going to go to help build another well. And because of just what God placed on my heart, I've set it as a goal to sell 8,000 boxes of this healthy coffee that, I mean, it does all kinds of things from the brain on down, and it's less acidic than most coffee, but that will build another well that will service thousands of people every day. And I would love for our audience to know about that and have a chance to give back, because not everybody can write a check for $8,000 and build their own well, but why not? If you drink coffee, or here, I'm going to help you be a problem solver here. If you drink coffee, great, get yourself a box or 2 or 5. If you don't, it's almost time to be giving gifts. And a lot of people do drink coffee. Get somebody else a box of coffee. Okay, it's 30 servings, so it's a whole month, unless they do 2 or 3 cups a day. And if they do that, then at least they're getting a healthier version of that. And so I love that you can give it as gifts. You can keep it for yourself. If you have a business, let's say I used to work in hotels when I was in college. You know what? There's breakfast time. Go ahead and give your guests, treat them, pamper them with some healthy coffee, and let them know by supporting your hotel or your business that they're also supporting it's what we call CSR. So my master's is in strategic public relations, right? So it's corporate social responsibility. That can be something you do as a business owner to show your social responsibility and really sow into others. So the website for me personally, where you can literally just go in, and a lot of the revenue from this is going straight there, but I'm also going to be donating some of anything that I might make to the same endeavor so that we can get these wells built and do more. So our company, Viseo, meaning servant in Greek, is 5 years old now. I've been partnered with them for a year and a half, and I'm so excited because in just a couple of years, we've made some great strides, and we've already built over 130 wells, and you can be a part of some of the next ones being built. And the website, once again, is Erin's Enigma. And that's an acronym. My name is Erin, but Enigma stands for empowered, not intimidated, growing, mentoring, and achieving. And that's what we're all about. That's what we're all about.
Send me when you get a chance. We're gonna be here until 10 o'clock today. So when you get a chance, send me the link, text it to me or something, or inbox it to me. And I'm gonna put it on the screen so everybody can see it that way. But right now, what I'm about to do, Aaron, I'm gonna put you on the spot one more time. But, I don't get a chance to talk to you that often. So when I talk to you, I like to put you on the spot. Can I do that again?
Absolutely.
I'm your brother. I can do that, right? I'm your brother. I can do that, right?
Of course.
Okay. I want y'all to take a listen to this right here. This is we talk about Aaron singing, and Aaron, I'm gonna mute your line for a second while I do this, okay?
Okay.
All right, let me see. Let me mute your line there. And let me go here. I thought I did. I guess I didn't. I'm trying to get the line muted here. I guess I can't. Here. Yeah, bear with me for a second. I'm trying to mute that particular line, but it won't let me do it. Might be the browser that she's on. Okay, but I'm gonna play this right here. Aaron said, he's talking about the baby singing. But this is a song that Aaron and a very good friend of ours, Double Blaze, did a couple of years ago. See, now she's
a couple years ago, 20 years ago almost.
No, exactly. I want y'all to listen to this. This is actually Aaron singing in the background, but listen to this song. Tell me what y'all think. Here it is. This is called Rainy Days.
Ooh.
There it goes again. It's the rain. Yeah. And the pain. We all got a struggle. That's real. We all got a story. We all got that cross to carry. Yeah. Here's mine. I've been through the worst, through it all, my hunger and thirst, but I decided to deny it and reject my curse. Let me take you on a journey straight to my home where mama works hard for me and my siblings, provided for all but y'all. In the back of my mind, in the depths of my soul, I hold close to the hustle like gold. And I ain't choose this game, man, but it chose me. My forecast was bad, so down came the rain and it soaked me. Now I recall them days not wanting God at all. I used to say, man, if you love us, we're struggling hard. While all my friends' life smooth, mine full up with scars. Why this record label won't hear my pain through these bars? So I stepped in the Ave with all I had. My heart pounded heavy, cause in my side was the Debbie. Straight stress, but I knew God was with me through the mess. A rainy day as I was serving my guests.
Rainy day, I get rainy days without you. Lord, troubles in the air when I walk away from you. Rainy day, in these rainy days, please help me through. Lord, forgive me and let me come running back to you.
My rainy days was like a beast raging or a slam to the pavement. Hit you in triples, hard enough to split up your fiddles. I was told the sun to shine if I put God before me. Old things behind me, I was like, nah, I'm too slimy. Something like Onyx, low down and shifty. And I wanted my money to sing to me like a Houston / Whitney. So silly, but really my mind was gone. Stuck in the spur of the moment, trapped in the opinion of others in the song. And I pour my life out and walk the night out, not knowing I'm going to my doom. Head towing, I had many warnings. of the consequences. Yet I did the opposite of right, and I made no difference. Follow up on the trends and them. Forget what the Lord say. You's a hustler, so stay hustling. That's exactly what Satan want me to think. But God, I thank you every day from saving me from my sin.
I get rainy days without you, yeah. Lord, troubles in the air when I walk away from you. Rain. In these rainy days, please help me through. Lord, forgive me and then me come running back to you. Rainy day, I get rainy day. The rain keeps falling. Rain, rainy day.
Now in the picture tonight, see the rain still falling in my soul, still calling for these problems to be solving, and I need some answers, and I know who got them, cause you was there the first time when I had hit rock bottom, but I'm too stuck in my ways to change. I can't do 60 all by myself. Lord, I need your help to stop these sins that I do. I wanna make it to heaven and be showered by blessings with you. It's true.
I get these rainy days. Lord, don't you help me hear my plea? I can't handle it by myself. Lord, I need your help.
Memories.
Oh. Oh my gosh. Double Blaze.
Yes.
Give us a call.
Exactly.
It's official. It's a hit.
It's a hit, brother. It's a hit. You hear them in the background. They say it's a hit. Let me bring Toya with a T back on the
Praise
screen
the
here.
Lord.
I was hoping she's gonna bring a video back up and Badger. Pull it back up.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Hey, I hear
Wow.
everybody saying it's a hit. And that was what, 20 years ago?
Wow.
That was 20 years ago.
Yes, that was 2003. Fall of 2003.
Toya
Ooh.
with a T. What's on your heart, sis?
Ooh.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good job. We need to go ahead and do a remake.
You know, I am full. So much has happened since then. And I thank God for bringing it all together, keeping us connected, reuniting us,
Absolutely.
because God has work to do.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
He is going to finish what He started.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I am so thankful to still be around and still be walking with Him. You know, I've gained a whole lot of life experience. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh,
To God be the glory.
ooh.
To God be
To
the glory.
God be
Yes.
the glory. Yeah, we've got to make sure we stay about our Father's business. I'm so glad, brother, that you are doing things. And just like I was saying when we were texting the other day, I love when couples build together. You know, that was always my vision. That's not necessarily what I ended up with. But that's a whole nother story. That's going to be in the books. That's going to be in the
Exactly.
It's going to be in the book.
And my thing is, man, I tell people all the time, this is one of the sayings that I always say, and I know they heard me say that on here many times. I never want to do anything that's gonna have my wife to cry, put tears in her eyes. I don't ever want to do anything that's gonna put tears in her eyes, man. I love that woman, man. She made me a better me. You know what I mean? So I get on here on this platform in front of 58 countries, and I tell them all day long, man, I love my wife, man. I ain't gonna do nothing to make her cry. Nothing. But yeah, that's just what it is. But Toya with a T, what's on your heart, sis? Talk to me.
I tell you, I'm full. God is so good. He's so amazing. You know, yes, originally when we were talking about, you know, the goal, helping with the water, with the well, all that stuff. So AaronsEnigma.com, please help out if you can. If you want to just donate, that's cool too. Cash App Aaron on the air, whatever. But the whole thing is God gets all the glory, no matter what it is. He's got to get the glory, because we don't know exactly when Jesus is coming back, but we know we're closer today than we were yesterday.
Absolutely.
And we can look around us at everything going on and know that, it's like we're living out the prophecy right now.
Exactly. Hold on one second, Aaron. I got to tell y'all too. She'll preach it now. She'll get a preacher a mic. Well, the preacher's gonna talk when you get a preacher the mic. But let me go. Let me go to Toya. Toya, what's on your heart, sis?
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Well, Badger wants to know, first of all, how do we spell the name on the website? He wants to know, is it AARONENIGMA.com?
ERIN. I know that much.
ERIN Enigma.
So I couldn't hear Toya.
Oh, you can't hear her?
I can't hear her, but was she asking for the website?
Yes.
Okay, Erin's Enigma. So ERINS, then enigma.com. Erin's Enigma, ENIGMA, stands for, well, here's the whole thing. The enigma of our organization is no mystery. We're empowered, not intimidated, growing, mentoring, and achieving. That's the acronym.
Got it. Now, see, when you said that enigma, now I went to public school. You put me.
I did too.
I went to public school. Now you put me spell enigma. Oh, I ain't gonna never be able to get to that site, boy. I went to public school.
I did too.
Look at we got quite a few people that's actually on the phone line as well. I'm gonna let me see. We got Toussaint just called in. Toussaint, what's on your heart? We got Curtis with us as well this morning. K with the E, and
awesome.
We got somebody from Houston, Texas. I don't recognize the number, but we got somebody from Houston, Texas as well. So let me go right now. Let me go to Toussaint. Toussaint, what's on your heart? Good morning, brother. How you doing this morning?
Doing well. Never get into a conversation that I don't know what y'all talking about.
Well, the topic of the day, the topic of what we're talking about today is what is constructive communication. But we got my sister on the line here, Erin. She's actually from Columbia, South Carolina, man, and we've been knowing each other for 20 years. She just made me aware it's been like 20 years, and she's telling you about this wonderful, amazing business that she have, how you can support and do different things like this, even to the point where every time you're doing something with her, you're actually helping people in Africa get water and where they can have a water supply to their what do they call it, Aaron? The colony, I don't know if it's the country or what exactly is. I went to public school. Now help me out.
I'm right there with you on that one. So, but it is a country. So, but even though we would normally say Tanzania, the correct pronunciation that I'm now aware of is Tanzania. Yes.
Good deal. Good. And so what you're doing is you're actually helping her. Helping her, you're helping the people that don't have access to water like we have here. We take it for granted here in America. We say we can just go to the faucet, hit the button or whatever, and you'll get water. They don't have that.
Nope.
And so what she's doing and what the company that she's a part of is doing is giving them access to the same things, to the same privileges that we have here, giving access to them there in the country that they're in, because they don't have that. And so in supporting one thing, you're supporting a larger thing, lack of a better term, a larger thing over there in that particular country or whatever they call it. And so that's what we're talking about right now, Toussaint. So what's on your heart, brother? I know, Toussaint, you travel too. So what's on your heart?
Yeah, I'm traveling again. I went to an event. I had the keys, the other keys to put in my glove compartment, and they can't get to work. So hey, that is, I get to get off so I can get it. Anyway, she said something that kind of struck a nerve as I look at what we do in life as a whole. She said something about him getting the glory out of different things. And that should be our aim. I don't know if you press a button to get water, right?
Yeah, you can press when you go to the when you go to the water fountain, you press that button, the water come up. Come on now. See now you're telling your age. Now you're telling your age. I'm trying to help you, brother. You're telling your age now. I'm trying to help you, brother.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, people be licking on the mouth of water fountain, so I don't do that. But anyway, when you get a chance to get your selling straight, inbox me that information.
Okay, absolutely.
Because as many people as we possibly can help that can't help themselves, I think we ought to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's past time for overall ministry.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Curtis out of Baltimore, brother. Good morning. How you doing this morning? Curtis.
Morning, family. How y'all?
Hey, doing good, brother. What's on your heart this morning?
Nothing.
Okay, well that's good then. That's good. And what's say it again?
They're just thanking God to be alive, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, amen.
Good deal. That's always good, brother. Always good. Let me go to K with the E. K with the E. And I know you look Kansas City. You over there in Kansas City. I know y'all won yesterday. Yeah, y'all did. I'm gonna go ahead and let you get it on out. I know that's what's coming next. Yeah, y'all won, K.
That's all we do is win.
No, all y'all do is win. Okay. Okay, well, I knew before you even got started talking. Did you see them Kansas City Chiefs? Yeah, we saw them sorry Kansas City Chiefs. They won yesterday. That's good. We so proud. We're so proud of them. Hyena, happy elephant, lady, and porcupine proud of them. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. But what do you think about the thing that Erin and her company have going on? I think that's absolutely amazing that they have the heart to want to help people in that way. What did you say to that?
I was trying to hear it. It was going in and out. So I'm like, I really couldn't hear everything.
You know, Kansas City, even though y'all got a good football team, y'all have terrible Wi-Fi.
We have terrible network, period.
There you go.
Wi-Fi network. It's all over the world.
Oh, okay.
Y'all
okay.
having it too. You just ain't having it.
Oh, okay.
We was having it too, matter of fact.
Lord Jesus.
We lost you a couple of times. It ain't just Kansas City. Don't be so hard on Kansas City.
Goodness.
That's why we having this good weather right now.
Oh, you're having good weather?
That's good.
Do y'all water work?
Some degrees in October.
Do y'all water work?
Everything works.
Good. So now we're trying to get everybody else in other places the same opportunity that y'all have, and her company is going to do that. See how I segue that? I tied the thing together.
I love that. That was smooth. That was
good, right?
I couldn't hear it. It was going
that was smooth. That was smooth. Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Fantastic. So what I was saying was we have partnered with Hearts and Hands for Humanity. And so far we've built a little bit over 130 wells. And I really want us as a community to kind of step up and, just kind of get one in a crunch time. And we can do some things that are mutually beneficial. So since one of our hero products is our Viseo coffee, because it's a healthier version of anything like that, using some Tanzanian beans, which are, by the way, some of the best in the world. We partner with Hearts and Hands for Humanity to provide wells so they can get fresh water. So, the statistics say that thousands of kids die over there every day because of things in the water or not having fresh water. So if we can help provide that, not only can we help them stay healthy and alive, but for some of the young ladies, especially that would be walking miles and miles and miles out of the way, away from schools, away from safe areas, and honestly ending up raped a lot of times. We are strategically having them placed near the villages, near the schools, so that they don't have to do that. And what the social workers are saying is it's keeping the numbers of unplanned pregnancies down, because the cases of rape, the numbers of rape are going way down. And that is a blessing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Kate, with the E, what's on your heart?
So what's the website?
Okay, let me see. Can I put it back up
Enigma. Again? Yep, Erin's Enigma. So it's ERINSENIGMA.com. And so by going to say it again.
You said ENI?
Yes, Enigma. ENIGMA. So what is that? Echo November India. I don't remember G. Let's just say G for gas, since gas is finally going back down. Those prices are going back down. M as in, I don't remember M either. Y'all, I should not have started with that
Yeah, I don't
particular
know. Look
alphabet
here,
because
you put yourself out there that time. Look,
I
I was
know.
gonna come and help you. I said, no, I'm gonna let her go and struggle through this one. Sometimes you gotta let them struggle through something. I'm gonna let you go ahead and struggle
See,
through this one here. M is for Mighty, and L is
thank you,
For
Mike and
Mark
Alpha.
and A
There
for
we go.
Alpha.
exactly.
So
I'm
what
actually gonna
was
put it on
G?
the
I don't remember.
Gamma.
Gamma. Okay, like gamma rays.
Aaron,
All right, thank you. See, we help one another out. You
hello.
know, as
There it
iron
is.
sharpens iron, a friend
Exactly.
sharpens a friend. I got that one. Boom.
I got it on the screen right there too. So if anybody,
Um,
people that's actually, well, hold on, Badger. People that's actually watching could actually look at the screen right there, and it's on the screen.
Fantastic.
And so that way, we could take away the guesswork. Badger,
Aaron,
you wanted to say something, Badger? Go ahead.
I actually went to that website, and it takes you to a website that's VASAYO with an enigma, and it's got your picture and all that stuff on it.
That's the same.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same one. It's just one it sends you to another. One.
So I'm at the right one where it says sample 10.
Sample 10,
Yeah,
Aaron?
all that stuff.
For the
Yeah.
10.
Okay, I couldn't hear the last part after sample what?
She said sample 10. She on the right side. It's something says sample 10.
Okay, when I access it, the first thing I see is Viseo Life Abundant. And so Viseo Life Abundant. But I'm accessing it from a device. I'm not on a desktop.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it says created by Dorothy Sherfield.
No. And how are you spelling it?
ERIN, then it has apostrophe S, and then it has ENIGMA.
Okay, ERINSENIGMA.com. So, and I just went back to it, and the first thing I see is Viseo Life Abundant.
Okay. Yeah. So let me say it. Let me say it. Maybe y'all can hear me a little clearer. It's ERINSENIGMA.com. Okay.
Okay, it's pulling up T's.
Okay.
Put it in again. It pulled up.
What I'm gonna do? This what I'm gonna do. Because I have access to all y'all. I'm going to text it to each one of y'all. I'm gonna text it to you. If I don't have your information, inbox me or something like that with your either text or email or something like that. I make sure that each and every one of y'all have it. I make sure before 12 o'clock today, all y'all gonna have the access to the website.
Right. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Not a problem. Now we're gonna keep this thing going, and we're gonna go back. We're gonna transition back. Now, Aaron, if you want to hang out with us, you can. But we're gonna transition back to our topic of the day. Is there anything on this particular topic, Aaron, that you want to say before we transition to something else?
Communicating effectively?
Yes. What is effective communication?
You know what?
Constructive communication.
You know, one thing I would say, and I don't think it really would qualify as a cliche as opposed to just a wise saying, but I would say seek first to understand rather than to be understood.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's good. That's
For
good.
sure.
And that's something that a lot of people and I said I spoke something similar to that earlier. I say you have to not listen for a defense, because a lot of times what people do, they listen for a defense. How am I gonna combat what you just said?
Right.
My thing is eat the meat, spit out the bone, and if there's some truth in what was said, consume that truth. Take that truth and use that to change what it is that you need to change about yourself. We got a couple other people that's on the phone line. Let me see. I didn't get a chance to touch everybody. We have also, I think we have Captain. Captain, are you with us? Captain, you there?
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. How are you and everyone doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How you feeling? How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you for asking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Check on you, brother. Check on you. We're talking about what is constructive communication. Captain, what is that? And what does that consist of? What does it look like?
Well, I think constructive communication is being able to get your point across, or to be able to communicate with someone else, where the lines of communication are very positive. The outcome of the communication is positive. The key word is constructive, not destructive communication. And I think that we lack a lot of constructive communication because the person on the end, as you mentioned, may take a defense on it. And so therefore they may see it as destructive communication. So, I think communication is being able to communicate in a way that you'll get a very positive outcome.
Now, a lot of times when people are communicating, when people are having a conversation, like I said earlier, they're listening, and you touched on it as well. They listen for a defense. They listen because of the fact that not that I'm going to listen to what you're saying, or maybe what you're saying to me makes sense and could actually help me, but I'm gonna shoot down what you just said because I don't agree with you. I don't agree. What you're saying, whether it makes sense or not, they're not listening and they're not hearing. How much of that communication consists of? I'm changing it up a little bit. How much of that communication consists of you listening and hearing what the other person is saying, Captain?
Well, sometimes you have to get a point across, and sometimes the point of truth that you get across to any individual, they may not accept the truth. They take and become defensive. In the book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, he talks about the 6 principles of human nature. And the first principle of human nature, he says, no human being likes to be criticized. And no human beings like to be complained about. And no human being likes to be condemned. So sometimes when you look at that, nobody wants to be criticized. So if you're doing what you call constructive communication, then sometimes people would take that as criticism. So how do you get across something that is positive, something that builds and not something that destroys, without the person on the end taking it personally? And that is when you're doing what they call effective communication. There's 8 barriers. There's 8 barriers of communication. There are 8 things that blocks a person from being able to effectively communicate. And those 8 barriers of communication, you'd be surprised that how we live every day. And we're practicing one of those barriers. And the barrier is that stands in the way of that communication that stops you from being able to get your point across. So what are the barriers? One of the barriers of effective communication is being able to get past your ego. That becomes a barrier of communication. How you come off. If you're effectively communicating with somebody, but you're coming off real arrogant, and you're trying to communicate, and everything you say come out your mouth is I done this. Me, I. And that's a turn off.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear nothing you got to say. So that's not constructive communication to me. So therefore, if you want to be able to cross effective communication, then we must be able to understand that you can't come after no human being with words that make them feel that you condemn them, words that you criticizing them, and words that you make it look like you criticize them. Because the first thing everyone do, right, as soon as you do that, they go into defense.
Yes.
That's the first thing they do.
Absolutely.
So we have to learn to be constructive communication is to be able to get past those barriers. The 8 of them. Thank you.
That's good. That's good. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. That's the phone number. Give us a call. We definitely love to have your input. We're talking about today what is effective, what is constructive communication. What is constructive communication? That's what we're talking about today. We'd love to have your input. 508-924-3521. Got a few more people that's on the phone line. I'm going to touch them as well. We have Navy. Navy, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, y'all. I'm good. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. I want to ask you this because you are a counselor. You are a counselor, and from a counselor standpoint, I need to know from you, what is constructive communication? What does that mean? What does it look like?
Ooh, constructive communication comes with a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion, a lot of, honestly, within the word constructing. If you're constructing something, then you're building something up. You're building someone up. You're building a bridge of communication, if you will. But also within that, you're listening to understand and not necessarily to respond. And I think just because of human behavior, I mean, like, if we're talking and listening, then it's just like, okay, I'm waiting for my chance to get in. But sometimes, you know, we need to listen more so, active listening, just to gain understanding, because we miss a lot in translation between one another, which is where miscommunication comes in. I'm interpreting something that I felt you said, but what I've had to learn, not just in my practice, but just in my everyday life, of let me repeat back. Okay, I heard you say this. Is that what you meant? And then you can gain some clear understanding and be like, oh, well, no. This wasn't what I meant. I really meant A, B, C, D, and E. But, and also the hardest thing, I think, for me is being able to read if that person is willing to receive and have the capacity to have that conversation in that moment. It may not be that they don't want to have it, but just in that moment, I just don't have the fortitude, I don't have the energy, and I don't have the space to receive what you're saying. And I may come off as very shut down, and then I may get offended because I feel like that you're not taking what I'm saying seriously. But I think that it comes with some self-awareness and be able to say, you know what, I love you, sis, I love you, bro, but I just don't have the space and I don't have the capacity to receive what you're saying right now.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Again, the phone number, you're asking for the phone number, is 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd definitely love to hear from each and every one of you. Toya with the T.O., you back with us? There she go. Toya, what's on your heart, sis?
No, I am back with again, everything is about for what. And I think as adults, we're always, the older we get, and when you become an adult, you're always in a position where moments can be constructive moments. And depending on what position you are, as an occupation, for instance, like I say, managers, teachers, things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? You might find yourself having to correct someone. You went to try to ask a question earlier on how would you take it if it's not received well by the other person, and you can't get them to change. Well, again, it depends on what particular environment, and we're going to take body odor, for example. Right? So we're in a studio setting, and someone with body odor comes in, and we all notice that it's a body odor. And it's not just once or twice. Some of us can do that, you know what I'm saying, and not say anything. But when it becomes consistent, that's when most people is like, all right, how do we approach this situation? Because we got our bad days. Now you say, hey, listen, this is what's going on. People are talking about your body odor. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything we can do to help?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard for us to deal with it. And we really want to tell you this. You can feel, you can see, you can sense when someone is sincere, when someone's saying, yo, bro, you stink. You got the whole place smelling up. Like, what you gonna do about that? You know what I'm saying? So it's always about a way on how you're expressing and how you're communicating something to somebody, because it can still be constructive. It can still be true. But again, it's how you say it, what you coming off at. So you come to somebody, you stink, or you black, you stink. We know black people stink. You know what I'm saying? Depends on where you coming from with what message that you're trying to deliver. You can still think it's positive and it's not. So again, depending on what position that you're in, and when you're becoming an adult, those are moments to where, more constructive criticism can and need to be used. Now, some of us feel like we grown and I shouldn't have to tell nobody nothing, and we let a lot of things fall by the wayside because we feel like the other people should know. And again, not to mention, most of us just don't like confrontation. We're just not going to do it. We just don't like nobody. It can be dead wrong. It's dead wrong. And you still don't want nobody to say nothing to you. I'm giving you my money to come to your studio. Nothing works. And now when I come say, well, hey, I thought I was paying for, you could, and oh my gosh. And you know what I'm saying? You going all out of proportion, but now you wrong. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the receiver, it no matter what you do, it depends on where their mindset is, that they can take things any kind of way. But as the giver, you have to stand firm when you're delivering a specific message. And if it's something that is supposed to be positive, constructive criticism, you can't back down on it depending on your position, a teacher, a principal. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a real touchy situation with talking about constructive communication, because some people just really take things and blow it way out of proportion. They don't want you to say anything. If you say anything good or bad or partial to what they're thinking or what they want you to say, they're going to blow all out of proportion, and you're still going to have to stand firm in certain situations, depending on your position, because what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and you can't be folded.
Exactly. Got a few more people that's on the phone line. Let me go right now to Willa. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow team. Good morning, y'all.
Good. Hold on. Willa! There you go. That's how. That's how. Willa, we're talking this morning about how do you have constructive communication? How do you have constructive communication, Willa? Is that even something that's possible?
Well, it is very much so, Raheem. That's what we do every day. We communicate with each other every day, but it becomes an art to some people, because you know what? You don't really pay attention or recognize how you communicate to someone unless they bring it to your attention. See, you could talk to people and then it's your delivery, how we talk, how we laugh about, how we are passionate with what we do. But then sometimes when you criticize, you can't have that kind of tone. So it's the delivery on how people take something that you're trying to communicate something positive to them. Because if your delivery feels negative to them, you've already lost them in the beginning. So what you're saying after that is just a waste of words. So you got to really, and then when you communicate, a lot of people said something really positive. See, when people say listen, sometimes people can hear you, but they ain't listening because they waiting on you to finish talking, because really they don't care about what you're saying, because they've already put up that defensive mechanism. So we got to really be careful when we say criticize, because your criticizing shouldn't be, like you said in the beginning, a negative thing. It should be constructive. That means I'm trying to tell you something that's going to help you. I've been through it. I'm trying to stop you from going through something I've been through. Or maybe I know something better than you tried it this way, not try it this way. So that's how you try to build up your communication positive, in a positive way. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's
because
good.
People will block you, think you listening, but they're not. Because at the end of the day, Raheem, I could tell you something that's good, take you to the water, but at the end of the day, Raheem, it's your decision. Whether you want to pick it up, drink it, or take it with you.
Absolutely. That's good. Let me go to Ibrahim, and then I'm going to go to I think we have Paul with us as well. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, sir.
I'll tell you one thing. I've seen the movie King, Woman King. and I found a lot of things out of there that can put history in perspective. The other thing I did, I went to State Fair here in Georgia at the racetrack, and it was interesting. Now, get into communication, right? I was always told communication is addressing your audience, right, and what you want to portray. Now, like a show like this, we're actually either in agreement or we're an antagonist, right? And we're antagonists because we just push out the comfort zone. By the very way, me saying Muslim or using Assalamu alaikum, I've offended a number of people. And people come offend me by saying some things in their belief. However, there's some things that, in my understanding, we're not having a conversation, we're having a debate. And so since I cannot debate because we're not having a conversation, then I can use the shock method. I can knock you out of the comfort zone by saying a couple of things that might stick with you. And sometimes I can't say something if you're such an agreement with it and such in harmony with it, you let it pass by and you try to add and subtract or whatever. But if a person can't sit and have an adult conversation, then you use a shock method. You get your point across. You say what you want to say. Now they can accept the receiver, but they heard you. And if they try to respond even negatively, they listen to somewhat. Then they got to come back and think themselves. They got to research themselves. They need confirmation from other people that they were right. So you got to them. And I see that a lot. I hear a lot of things that really just rub me the wrong way because I've actually had experience with something, and I've heard some conversations before. So either I just accept it or pass it by, or I deconstruct. But sometimes you gotta tear things down to build it up. And if you don't have a base, a foundation, then hey, it's just nebulous. But
what is the intent? Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you, Ibrahim. Let me ask you this question. Because you said something that was very interesting right there. You said sometimes you have to tear things down to build them back up. So what is the intent of tearing something down in order to build it up? What do you think the overall intent is in doing that?
To find the cracks in the foundation and tear it apart, and then start putting semen in it.
Is that positive? Is that a positive thing, or can it be a very negative thing?
It can be a positive thing. It'd be a positive thing. If you're building on sand and you hadn't dug down in there and established your foundation, right? Then that thing's gonna be slip and slide around. It's gonna blow the window, like like I said, if a person doesn't know their own history, it's like a tree without roots. A tree don't have sufficient roots. As you see in all these storms, they fall. They fall and they tear, they struck, they fly away, right? They go any way the wind blows, right? And that's, in my experience and what I've been hearing, I hear a lot of that going on. I hear a lot of same old things that haven't really helped anything and went anywhere. Or there's no conversation towards, okay, this is the problem, let's fix this, right? And I don't hear that. I always hear, let's go back, let's research this thing, let's try to create something new, rather than let's see what works and let's fix this. Let's research this. I don't hear that. I hear people, the adults, and I hear a lot of things, people saying stuff that don't even make sense. It makes sense to them. It might sound good to other people trying to agree with them or try to associate with them and be compassionate with them, but they still got the same problem.
30 seconds.
So what do you see? You have a conversation with a murderer, a mass murderer, right? That he did this in defense, he did this for this reason, that reason, or he says, well, God, it was their time to die. God's going to kill him in it. He's going to die one way or another. So I took God's work in my hand and killed him. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Got your born, right? You heard that? And people think like that every day. But they don't be like that, so they should be destroyed. They should be taken down.
Yeah, there's some people that think like that. Okay, we got to keep it moving. And there are some people that think like that. There are some people that I kind of question them people. They different. They different than who I am. But let's keep this thing going. Paul, what's on your heart? Good morning, Paul. How you doing this morning? Paul, you in California, right?
Good morning. Yeah, out here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Ibrahim. I think sometimes you have to tear it down, and that comes from like really digging deep into the issue, whatever the issue is. And I have to hand it to you, Rahim, for doing that on the show. Like you're willing to get your hands dirty, and when you get into conversations, it happens. So what was I going to say? I think like effective communication, it depends on your role as a communicator. Like, what's the role? Like, I'm a teacher, so I think when I deal with my students, I always have to remind myself, okay, these are human beings. I need to always show utmost respect because I'm demanding the utmost respect. So if I, that's an example. If you're having a conversation with a group of people, it's one way. Talk show is very different from like a discussion, which is why I think, sometimes it could be more constructive to have just a regular conversation. Like I say something that, Rico or Curtis or they don't like something I said last week. Well, they can ask me, well, what do you mean by that? And then we could dig into the details and they could see, I don't have bad intentions. I just have a different perspective. And, sometimes, like you said before, people aren't listening to really hear what the other person's saying. And so you have to, like what I did was like after Friday, I listened to that show again and I took notes on what people said and all the stuff. And there were so many great, amazing ideas that were given on the show, as always. And, one of the things that I walked away with was something Mr. Hicks said was about the law of attraction. And like, something that I don't know, some people might call it God or some people might call it something else. I don't know. But it's like the universe puts things in our path. You're like, how did this get here? Well, you kind of made it. You kind of made it get there by your mentality. And I've been guilty of this by, looking for negative things and they get put right in my path. So I don't know if that's God or what, but I think that's related to the communication, what we're expecting.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Curtis, talk to me, brother. We're talking about what is constructive communication, brother. And you two are counselors, brother. So what's on your heart?
Well, I mean, I think everybody kind of summed it up as best they could. I mean, gave some very valid points, especially with Paul being a teacher, and Navy being a therapist herself. If you're having constructive criticism, in my mind, it means that you are attempting to build something. It could be any number of things: build a relationship, build a person's social toolbox, build their academic skills. But there's some intricate parts to constructive. There's some intricate parts to that that have to be there. One, you have to be an active listener. You cannot go down that pathway and you are not actively listening to a person. The part of that communication entails such things as in tune listening and or behavior. We don't talk about that too much. And you also have to be able to understand tone. Tone of your words can create an idea of what you are trying to say or what you want to say, but it may relate a totally different thing for somebody else. So you have to really be in touch with the tone of your words. You have to be in the conversation and not around the conversation, if it's okay for me to say that.
Yeah.
When you doing constructive communication, nobody wants to feel like, as a communicator or as a recipient, that you're not listening. Right? In active listening, a lot of times we're taught to regurgitate what was said. The person that you're having this moment with can understand that, okay, not only is he listening, or not only is she listening, but she's willing to allow for me to speak, and she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And she's willing to allow for me to speak. And to explain myself before giving a response. So Paul was absolutely right, and we don't get it right all the time. I mean, that's constructive communication is something that is learned by practice in my mind. You know what I mean? Like you got to work at that, man, because I mean, in the field that I'm in, some of the things you hear just it's not going to settle well with you. I'm playing like this, but spiritually, I'm always reminded of, and Willa might be able to help me out with that. Well, I know Willa be able to help me out with this. There ain't no might in it. When you go to Revelations in the book, right? And basic instruction before leaving Earth. When you go to Revelations in the book, and you talk about Jesus coming back to the 12 churches, right? I completely understand the whole, tear something down. But I also understand that when you go into a conversation with the ideology of tearing it down, if you do not properly communicate that, and if that person that you're in that conversation with does not agree to that, that will sound like, to them, it will sound like you're beating them up. They don't even understand that you're trying to help build them up. So they don't understand. So you gotta accept the fact that you're gonna get some kickback. But what I noticed in Revelations is
30 seconds, Curtis.
When he came to the 12 churches, if you read it, he never started with the malfeasance or the inappropriate behavior or the things that they weren't doing well first. He started with that. I mean, I could have read it wrong because I'm not the best reader of all things. But if I read it right, and I'm paraphrasing here, it was as if Jesus came to each church and said, okay, look, I like the way that you do A, I like the way that you do B, I like the way that you do C. However, if you really want to get to D, you're going to have to, or at some point, you're going to have to address and or make changes to E, F, and G. And here's why. That's another we don't do. And I think it's just a human thing, but we don't do constructive communication. Is when we deconstruct, we don't spend time explaining why that deconstruction is in need.
Okay, Curtis,
why?
Okay, stay right there, Curtis. We got to keep this thing. Got to keep this thing moving, brother. Got to keep it moving. Hold on, don't go nowhere. Stay right there. I'm gonna go to Rico, then I'm gonna go to Toya. Cause I see Toya, she up there jumping at the bit, so I know she got something on her heart right now. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I mean, I think most of that constructive communication has to come from understanding why it's needed. And like I said earlier from the beginning, most of the time it should be, if somebody's coming from a sincere and genuine place, it should be to make something better, to have a good outcome or a better outcome than what's already there. Now you have to be careful of the fact that if you're the one that's giving the constructive communication, that you don't come from a place of frustration, because if you don't, if you do, then you have to be careful or be mindful of the way you deliver it, because you can come off negative and persecutorial if you frustrated by it. But then also, as the person is receiving the constructive communication, you got to understand whether or not they believe they have come up with something or they are doing something perfect. They ain't doing nothing wrong. This is the best thing that ever happened. I'm absolutely right. I'm foolproof. I can't never be wrong. That anytime they get some constructive communication, they're going to look at it as hate. Now, I know this is going to take off, but you're going to have some haters. Who I can't wait to get this business started, but man, you're going to have some haters. So, when you start automatically thinking you're going to have some haters, then anybody that come to you to even tell you something good, hey, man, you ever thought about doing this? Worry about what you worried about. This is my business. Start your own business.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just trying to lend something to yours that may make it better, as a customer, as an outsider looking in. But then, we have this mindset. See, we got to debate whether or not we got to debate this. Does what other people say matter, or does it not? Because sometimes we have this attitude, this mindset. It don't matter what other people think about you. It don't matter what other people say. Well, if you feel that way, then somebody having some constructive criticism about your product having a flaw that might actually cause you to be sued and make you go broke. But everybody that come to you is a hater. See, we look at these words, man. We say the word constructive criticism. Criticism can be looked at as negative. Ibrahim said the word tear down. Somebody taking that negative. That ain't negative. You giving somebody constructive communication to help them be better because they're doing something that you see a flaw. What you're doing is you're dissecting where that flaw came from, that dysfunctional behavior, dysfunctional belief system, whatever this flaw is.
Why is it so hard to receive it then, Rico? Why is it so hard?
Ego. I just said it a second ago. You perfect. You can't be wrong. You foolproof. You the best. You the HNIC. Or you the bad B. You the best. You the baddest. You the first. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want this title to make themselves distinct. So sometimes it's hard for them to let their ego go. But then once again, like I said, when you look at it like that and you already feel like, man, I'm going to have some haters. Don't nobody like me. Everybody hate me. Then you're going to take the word criticism as something negative. You're going to take the word tear down as something negative. When really and truly, you got to dissect a person or a product to find out what the flaw is. For you to fix it, or you're going to end up band-aiding it. But we take words, some people can't take it because they only hear certain words. Like when they listen and they only listening for the hate. Oh, they talking about they got some advice for me. Let me see what negative they got to say. He come with this constructive criticism. So you automatically looking at it as negative. And so people dissect phrases. They hear the words and think about them on the most simple terms. And a lot of times it's automatic because they got some against this person. Like whoever took what Ibrahim said wrong might already have something in them about the way they feel about Ibrahim all the time anyway. You get what I'm saying? But see, I could dissect what Ibrahim is saying and saying, you know what, man, that don't mean nothing negative. He's saying that we need to dissect where this flaw is coming from. That's how you tear it down. You break it down and pinpoint the problem. Even if it might be a computer program. IT technicians, they break down problems and solve them. They call they troubleshoot. You have that's a constructive communication, troubleshooting, so you can make sure that at the end of the day your product may be foolproof. But I heard Erin say the word earlier. She said the letter CSR. Then she said corporate social responsibility. Man, how odd is that? Corporations feeling responsible for social, society, or community.
Powerful.
Can that work? Do corporations actually understand, or communities understand their social responsibility to mankind?
Wrap it up, Rico. We gotta move it on, brother.
Excuse me. I'm gonna leave it at that. Just think about those words, the responsibility of that whole phrase, but then think about what corporations do, and if it actually equates to them being socially responsible. Are communities actually social responsible, or are we still trying to get them to understand with some type of compassion and empathy that they should be socially responsible for the influence and impact they have on communities?
Absolutely. Toy, you want to say?
So yeah, I think the key part is, constructive. And not only that, we're talking about communication. Even though there are different ways of communication, we have to be careful and be mindful of the words that we use. Tear down and break down are two different things. And when you're looking at a way where you're communicating by voice, tear down can be, not looked at in a positive way versus when you say breakdown. And there are specific things that people are going to allow you to tear down. Like, for instance, the military, they used to use a method. So they say the perception was they holler at you and they get in your face and they want to break you down because they want to break it to the lowest level. And there are physical things that go along with that. And when you learn to endure that and put up with that, oh, now you get tough skin. Oh, now you're a murderer. Okay, so they had a method of breaking down and some of us compare it to tearing down. So I can see why someone would take some things like that negatively. But when you're talking about effective communication from a leadership aspect, not a military aspect, not an aspect where you're going to use it to be negative, most people will not accept the tearing down process lightly. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody made a good comment. I'm not sure who it was, but they made a comment that you must prepare them for that. Because even if you have a military background, if people don't know that, here you come in the hood trying to operate a restaurant the way you would in the military. In 2022, that's not going to work. But 1995, you could have flew with that. So a part of not only being constructive communicator, a constructive communicator, is about being an effective one. That's the next thing. There's certain words and certain gestures and certain looks, and all of that plays a part in when you're communicating and what specific topic you're communicating about. Now, again, I said something about the receiver, like Rico said, oh, you're a hater. They're going to be a hater. You know, some people are just in denial. Some people are not going to take criticism. And again, being a communicator and an effective communicator means you need to be able to acknowledge and know that. You need to be able to acknowledge and know that they're saying the same thing I am, but they just want to insult people a little bit more. A little bit more. They're saying the same thing that I am, but they're saying it from a place to where they want to be right and they want to downplay everybody else. They're saying the same thing, or maybe even something the exact opposite, because of how their level and amount of thinking. You ever been talking to someone who you know is mentally challenged, and you talking about a specific situation, and they're just gonna give you an answer from left field, and to them that's just what it is, but you already know that person is a little touched right there, so you got to kind of let them, you know what I'm saying, roll with that. See, all of that is a part of being an effective and a constructive communicator, because you know, it doesn't make a difference to be constructive about certain things with kids. It doesn't make, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to know and pinpoint what situation you're in and what point are you communicating something and what for. You know what I'm saying? You communicating to a person that's overweight about losing weight, and that's not what they're there to do. You're getting nowhere. That's not what they want to hear, and you're not going to get good feedback on that. Now, if you're dealing with individuals who want to lose weight, it's a voluntary thing, and they've come to you to say, hey, I want you to help me, then okay, boom, you got an open door for communication, because talking to the one who doesn't want to lose weight, you're going to come off as offensive and fat shaming for talking to them in that way, because that's not what they're there for. So we have to remember the position that we're coming from, the position that the receiver is in, the situation before we start communicating something. I think it's going to be taken, constructive.
Now, Toya, you're talking to somebody about losing weight. They have a weight issue, and you talk to them about losing weight, and you sit there and you give them all the very valid points, and they say to you, can we talk about this over lunch? Can we talk about this over a chicken sandwich? You know, they've missed everything that you there you go. So there you
That's
go.
right. That's listen, you know, that translates to me how men do. You and you trying to talk to them about something else, but they like, yeah, they already know, they got plots and plans in their head on what their intentions really are, but they just, you know, going along the way. And well, can we talk about that at your house? Oh, what you want to talk about that over then? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it depends on what you want, but absolutely, that's how we do. Again, if that person is not there for that, they're not going to receive that well. And when you communicate on that subject, they're not going to feel like it's coming across positively. They're going to feel like it's negative, because y'all going in two different directions.
Absolutely. Cassandra, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we're talking about what is constructive communication. What is, and you two are a counselor, you educator and all. What is constructive communication? What does that look like?
Okay, constructive means to build. So you're asking what kind of communication builds up?
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Well, constructive communication, you know, because some people could take it positive or some people could take it very negatively. It depends. Like Toya was talking about, you talking to a person that's obese and you're talking to them about losing weight. They could take that, it's constructive communication, but they could take that as a very negative thing because they're not there. they don't want to lose weight, even though it's better for them. It'll make them a little more healthy, and it'll make their life probably extend their life cycle and different things of that nature. But only thing they want to say, where's the next chicken sandwich? When we gonna go to the buffet? When are we gonna do these different things? They're not in that place at that particular time. So what is constructive communication?
Okay, this is just from my perspective.
Sure.
It's when you are aware of the person that you're talking to, and you're able to talk to them in a way that builds them up, even if it's something that's hard. It's sometimes it's not what you say. You know how we always say that thing. It's not what you say; it's how you say it.
Yes. Yes.
So constructive communication has to be that you are aware of how you're saying what you're saying, so that the person that you're trying to reach does not take it the wrong way. And that's something that is not easy to do. We can say all day that, oh yeah, I can talk to anybody. Now I can't. I can't. I have to really make sure that I'm talking to that person in the way that they will understand it, that I'm not on the attack. I'm trying to help them. And a lot of times it doesn't come across right. We make mistakes. I may make a decision to talk to somebody in a certain way, and you can tell immediately when you've offended someone.
Yes.
And then I have to say, listen, I'm sorry if that came out wrong, but this is what I meant to say. And I've had to do that, many times over the years, because sometimes I'm trying to operate on what I think and not what the Spirit of God shows me. But when I operate within God showing me a person, and that's how I like to deal with people, I ask God to show me the person that I'm dealing with and what I need to say to them that will be most effective in a positive way. So, it's all according to, I deal with people on an individual basis. I deal with them on an individual basis. So I can just end with that. I just don't, start saying something to them. I make sure that what I'm saying is going to fit what's going on with them.
Wow, that's good. That's good. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd definitely love to have your input. Badger, what's on your heart? We're talking about constructive communication.
Toya brought up something that had me smiling huge over here. People that are mentally different, folks like me. I can't handle the way a lot of society talks to one another. I don't understand the logic or the whole purpose of it. The way me and a lot of people that are on the autism spectrum are very logic-minded, blunt, and just straightforward. And I'm having, using my son as an example. My sister came over, and she's dealing with some health issues, and and he said, he literally just, no disrespect, no nothing, why are you fat?
Okay.
See, a lot of people take that rude, but to us, that's not rude at all. That's just asking a question. That there's no ill will. There's nothing like that. No coming from a place of that nature. It's just purely a question out of curiosity. That's it. But trying to explain that to general public, we can't have an effective communication. To everyone else, we have to talk the way everyone else talks. The way we talk is not acceptable. So therefore, we have to learn how to speak like other people do. How in essence, pretend to speak like other people, even if we don't understand it. So when I hear topics like this, like effective communication, there's so many times where I've had to talk to you after the show to understand something or to ask you how to word something, because my presentation for most people is not good at all. And I get taken wrong a lot. So it's one of those things. And the funny thing is, it's part of my everyday struggle. I've been like this my entire life. I've been the speech therapy. I've been the behavioral therapist, and so on and so on. I'm 36 years old. I've got 30 years of therapy. My mind never changed. It's just the way my brain's programmed. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
is my way of communication less effective because it's not acceptable to most of society? So how can I have a constructive conversation if the other person expects me to speak like them?
It again, I think, and this is just me talking, I think it is based on who you're having that communication with, who you're having that conversation with, who are you talking to, and are they listening to you, are they receiving what you're saying? Because a lot of time, if you talk to the wrong person, it's gonna come off wrong. It's gonna come off totally wrong. And the way they're going to take it, there's nothing you can say to make it right.
And that's the thing.
Because of the mindset that a certain individual may have at that particular time. Go ahead.
Like the most me and my son can hope for is to learn coping skills of when we're talking to someone to try and figure out if the other person isn't receiving it, because we don't pick up on most of those kind of cues. So there are those people out there that honestly, like me, I never mean no harm by anything I say.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, how many people have I upset because of the way I word things?
But my question is, how is that gauged though? I mean, or the right and the wrong element in that. How is that gauged? Because
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like just straight up. I don't know, because I'm in a society that's not very open to the blunt, straightforward, or just asking a question out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is taboo, it feels. So this conversation has been a lot of me just trying to understand y'all's perspective of what y'all consider a constructive conversation. And a lot of it I don't understand. Because talking to me like that, I'm just going to look at you like, what? Just say it. Like, don't beat around the bush. Just say it. I'm not going to take it rude.
There's this thing called tact as well, brother. And so, some
I'm
people
explaining my mind.
We got to keep it moving, brother. It can't be a Raheem Badger show. We got to keep this thing moving. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Sometimes even having a constructive conversation, you be quiet. You can't be demanding, you have to be suggestive. Is that a word?
I don't know, Tucson. I think you're reaching that. I think go ahead, brother.
No, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
See, everything's not my way. Everybody don't agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't start a conversation like I'm right about what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That don't have to be constructive.
But do a lot of people go into the conversation thinking? Do a lot of people go into? I'm not gonna say they stay there, but do a lot of people go into the conversation thinking they're right?
Yes, I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
I already heard it, and that's not a bad thing. I want to say something about what Curtis said. The 7 churches of Asia Minor. Jesus starts off the conversation and he says, "I know your works."
Mm-hmm.
So really, he's not pointing them out. They know themselves better than they almost suggest.
Mm-hmm.
They know it. Some people know themselves.
Yeah.
And you know them too. They say, I know how this is gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say, really, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
So bring you to a point from where you are.
I can't see why you're trying to help me calling me fat. I can't see how you're trying to help me calling me fat. How that helping me?
Now that right there, I thought that's what it was saying. now I thought that, and I wanted to try to pass that by, but it was out there, and that conversation is not gonna go well.
Mm-hmm.
Big bone probably.
Mm-hmm.
But fat, you call me what? Now you talking about tear down to build up.
Mm-hmm.
Because you done rip all the concrete out. And you starting another foundation.
Yes, sir.
Because people do automatically you know, I know, everybody know that nobody wants to be called fat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They don't mind saying you thick. You kind of thick there, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's almost that is almost what you call that?
A backhanded compliment.
Compliment.
A backhanded compliment.
When you say, yeah, yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, you kind of thick there. Especially, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to add to, not take away from.
Yeah, yeah.
And even when it's said, okay, you got to tear down to build up. Be careful on what you're building.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you try to redevelop your own foundation, you have a problem.
Exactly.
Especially if your structure is out of your own mindset.
Mm-hmm. That's
Everybody
good.
don't agree with you.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's
saying.
good. On 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Got quite a few other people that actually called in as well. Definitely appreciative of everybody that's taking the time to join into this conversation today. We definitely appreciate you and thank you. My baby girl is on. Mary, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing well. Asking the question, Mary, what is constructive communication? What is constructive communication?
That's interesting wording there. I feel like it's communication that I don't know. I feel like it's like a difficult conversation that you have with somebody, but it's meant to affect them positively or have them reflect on something that they should be fixing about themselves.
Mm-hmm. What if they don't think anything is wrong with them?
Well, that's fine. You don't have to think nothing's wrong with you for you to need to fix something. Nothing's wrong with anybody. I feel like people have things they need to work on, so I don't think anything's wrong with that. You should always be trying to improve, so nothing's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's things that you should probably think about, things that you should probably, and a lot of times you don't really know what you need to work on because you don't know how you come off to people, but that's why you need somebody to tell you, like, hey, you should probably look into the way you come off with whatever,
Wow.
you know?
Exactly. That's good. And Aaron, you're back with us, right? Aaron, you there?
I'm right here.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. My daughter just said something. When we having this constructive communication with other people, do we always listen to what we're saying? Do we listen to us? And I know hopefully we're listening to the other people, but are we also listening to what we're saying and what we're putting out there to that other person?
You know, I think a lot of times we think we are hearing what we think we're saying. So when I say that, I mean, I'm literally thinking about someone who's been in my life for a very long time, and it just really started to become apparent, like these whole conversations would be going on in his head.
Mm-hmm.
But most of it was never articulated to me, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So what he thought he was telling me wasn't getting conveyed. I only heard what was said.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just like one of the first counselors that came in. I believe she said rotating, but basically repeating what we took from what someone said so that we make sure we're on the same page. I think that is vitally important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Willa, talk to me, Willa. Cassandra, coming to you next.
Hey, Raheem, I was thinking about what area of our life are we most effective with constructive criticism? And I was thinking about marriages and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about something that my husband had said to me. You know, I'm a person, I'm just a go. I'm like an Energizer bunny.
Mm-hmm.
And I do what I can, I do what I do for
my husband, and for my sister, everybody. So he said something to me. He said, you know what, man? He said, sometimes you need to just take time for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
He said, because you just do stuff for everybody, blah, 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 blah. But his constructive criticism just to me had turned into something more of a negative one. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if it wasn't what I was doing that was negative, because it's positive things that I'm doing. But maybe I was missing something with doing something with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at it as, why just you couldn't tell me what was going on with you versus you trying to tell me what's going on with me. So you see how something constructive might turn into something negative.
Mm-hmm.
So I think about the relationship. Sometimes it can get too much, overwhelming. And that's why sometimes men say, oh, she's nagging, or he's nagging. And it's really not most of the time. It's just that they don't know how to be nice and say, you're not fat. I'm just using that word because we could say it a little bit different. That's all I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
And that's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Cassandra, we're going to go in this. We're going to go Cassandra, Leonard, and then we're going to go to Captain. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
I definitely, I try to be careful. Now, when we're in a setting like this, a lot of times, my passion on certain subjects come through. But when I'm dealing with people on a counseling level, I really have to make sure that I choose my words carefully. Even if whatever the person's issue is, I have to come to them in a way that that like breaks down a wall and not build up a wall, because once they build that wall, now you have to start all over trying to get them to to listen to you or to listen to your advice. But so I just know for me, I have to be extremely careful when I'm talking to people and counseling people. I don't care if it's about a rape. I don't care if it's about domestic violence. I don't care if it's about, if I'm dealing with a stripper, a prostitute.
Yeah.
I have to be very careful how I talk to them. Now, I can be really firm. I will talk firm because some people, that's the only thing they understand. But that's why it's important, if we're trying to do constructive criticism as a Christian, that we handle it from a spiritual aspect. God will show you or he'll tell you what you need to say to that person to be most effective. I don't know whether that makes sense.
It does.
But
it does.
Yeah, that's the way that I have to approach people.
Good deal. Captain Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Leonard, we're asking the question, what is constructive communication? What is constructive communication, and what does it look like?
It's basically any type of communication to help or to motivate. One thing about constructive communication is it lacks negativity. So you're no longer being constructive when you're being negative.
Now, that's good. But let me ask you this question. What happens if your delivery is not intended to be negative, but the receiver take it as being negative? How do you tread in those waters?
Well, actually, it just depends. If you need to go work on your communication skills, that's what you need to do. Because communicating is a skill. Once you do it very well, especially if you're trying to get somewhere, it's like, say, for instance, I don't like having a conversation that ain't going nowhere. I pick that out very quickly and I go the other way. I don't usually give a person that type of time. So one, I'm listening very carefully to what you're saying to make sure it makes sense before I go, I commit to it. You know what I'm saying? But, you have a lot of people just talk to hear themselves talk. They're not trying necessarily to help or build anything or get to a certain point. And then, we kind of sometimes say they're just, they may be off focus. They may be rambling. They may be it just depends on their style and their relationship with the person. But generally, constructive communication lacks negativity.
Wow. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Captain, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Man, that's why I follow Dr. Leonard. That man is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
He hit the nail right on the head. It is. It lacks negativity.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to everyone, and it is very clear that, as I was mentioning, what we call the 8 barriers of communication. When you talking to somebody, I don't know who it was, we're talking about the person that had an odor. How do you tell somebody basically that you stink?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this 8 barriers of communication, it talks about culture. Culture could become a barrier. Culture, and in that culture is upbringing, background, bias, and education. If you ever went to Africa, all the people in Africa, they smell like, I ain't gonna say they smell like that, but they're a little funky. To keep the words straight up, they real funky. And they're not bothered by it. Michael Jackson mentioned that and got in trouble when he went to Africa. When I was in Africa, I said, my God, if I was to get some deodorant, but that's attractive to a culture.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you tell someone that they smell? Okay, say they ain't come from Africa. They say they just have a smell. According to Dale Carnegie, and I'm a motivational speaker, I have to be an effective communicator. So I want to tell that person that they smell without them becoming offensive. So how do I tell them? I say, oh, my man's in them. I like that outfit. Oh man, where you get them shoes at, brother?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, that's what. I said, look here. Let me tell you something. Have you ever checked that cologne out? That's called so and so, so and so. Oh, partner, you put that on, get that smell good. Man, you have the ladies all on top of you, soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my way of saying, brother, get you something that makes you smell better.
Yeah.
Now I didn't compliment them. If you are an effective, and most of y'all say y'all effective communicators, you very wise enough to know how to be able to approach whoever you are. Constructive, I like what Leonard said. There's nothing negative in constructive. That's why it's called constructive. Constructive communication should produce a positive outcome. How do I know what I said that the person I said it to received it? They say you have to get feedback. Listen to me. Feedback is the only way that you know that you was effective in your communication. So I give an order. I tell somebody something. I'm talking to a crowd. Then I ask the crowd, okay, give me some feedback on what I said. If you give me feedback that is so contrary of what I said, I said, wow, I was not effective.
Mm-hmm.
The person missed the point. I didn't get nothing across. So feedback tells you if you. So we doing in the nation with the soldiers. When I give an instruction, before the soldier move out, I said, now read back to me what I just said to you. Well, you said go down 2 stores and turn left, and that's where you can put the papers at. I said, no, sir, brother. I said, go down 2 stores and turn right. So we got to be what was it that he didn't hear? How come he wasn't listening to what I said? So if we're effective communicators, I teach law enforcement. You want to talk about how do you go before law enforcement? Everything they think the community going to be saying to them is negative. So as soon as I go in there, I got a room full of 60 officers. The first thing they see me, here we go. This guy's going to mess around here and say something negative. He's going to tell the what. And I don't do that. But that's their perception. That's cultural difference. That's their ego. It's in the way. So you know what I got to do? This is the truth, family. First thing I do when I go before the law enforcement community, ladies and gentlemen, law enforcement, I like to take this opportunity to applaud you and salute you for putting your life on the line every day for a community and sometimes get no appreciation off. In behalf of me and my company, I applaud you and I applaud them. As soon as I do that, that posture that they had, you start seeing that posture come down. Why? Because I praised them first. I made it easy for them to take this medicine I'm getting ready to give them. That Father John medicine, as the scripture says, it may be bitter in your mouth, right? Christian, what it say? But be sweet in your stomach.
Come on.
Remember the word, may be bitter in your mouth, but it's going to be sweet in your stomach. So if we want to be effective communicators, after I go through the training with them, you know what pen that I give them, they put on their uniform? They are called tactical communicators. I have trained those law enforcement how to communicate with a community that is so diverse and so culturally different. That's my job.
Wow.
But in order to be effective communicator, like what Leonard said, there's nothing negative in being constructive communicator. It produces a positive outcome. If it don't produce a positive outcome, it's not constructive communication. And I don't believe sometimes you, as I like with Brother Tucson, you're going to have to tear down. I hear you. You know, but I like what Tucson said. What you going to build up? What you think? Your idea? Your way? Maybe we have to come behind and tear your stuff down. But we have to be very careful because the word tear down is negative.
Exactly.
That's very negative. You know, I got to tear your stuff down. Man, that's negative. I don't want to hear nothing. You got to say nothing. You can't tell me nothing. If you come out the gate talking about you got to tear something down. No, we have to use language that builds up, not tear down.
Exactly.
We have to be very positive.
Good deal.
Thank you so much, brother, for giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely. We're gonna go in this order right here. We got a few more minutes before we get out here. We're gonna go in this order. We're gonna go Rico, K with an E, and then we're gonna go to Kirk. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I think first off, when you come to that situation, I think somebody said it earlier, you got to be mindful of the conditions that these people are coming from, the mindset that they have. You know, sometimes they say you have to meet people where they are. But at the same time, you meet people where they are. If you're trying to get that positive result, or if you're trying to get that impact, and like I said, you're trying to get that improvement that you're coming to them with to help them be better. You want to always think about how respectful and humble you can be. See, respect and humility is big.
Yeah.
Because when you come to a person in a respectful way, then you already going to be mindful of making sure that you approach this person because you want them to receive that the right way. Like I said, you can't come frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we could see a situation going on and we want to help somebody, but at the same time, we almost start banging our heads against the wall. Then we got to also understand that sometimes when we coming from a good place, this person might say, "Who are you to judge me?" Well, I ain't judging you. I'm just telling you that, you know, as a customer, there's somebody on the outside looking in, you know, that your product is good. And I also think that if you did this to it, it might make it a little bit more accessible or a little bit more marketable or whatever, you know. Like I said earlier, I might bring up a situation where I know what the flaw is, and so I'll come to them as a customer, as the person that has gone through that flaw, that has this problem with the product or with the situation or with the thought process, the way they think about something. Okay, this is the way you think. This is your opinion of how you feel. This is your belief system. This is the way you think this rule should go. So let me come to you from the perspective of the child. Now, what if this situation happens? What if this situation happens? What if that happens? And you give them that scenario, and then they may have to rethink. You know what? I was wrong. I didn't think for that. I didn't plan for that. And so, like I said, there's situations where, you know, they appreciate that. But even with that person that you know is so confident, because man, I'm gonna tell you, there's some confident people out here. There's some go-getters.
Yeah.
They don't care what nobody say. And even when you say they ain't got time for no negativity, that means if you see some flaws with my stuff, keep it to yourself. Let me learn the hard way. I don't want to hear nothing negative. Well, I ain't telling you nothing negative. I'm telling you your product is good, you know, and I see another thing that can make it better. No. You know what? Come up with your own idea. I didn't ask for your help.
Wow.
So, I mean, sometimes you could be just as humble. Sometimes you can be respectful. And these, you know, we have to understand we are dealing with people sometimes that feel like they are perfect.
Yeah.
They feel like they are chosen, they are blessed and favored. and whatever they come up with works. But me, I'm the type of person, man, like as a musician, when I played ball, everything that I've done, you know, when people gave me praise, I always second guess myself. Number one, I always had a higher expectation because I was humble enough and respectful enough to know that there were other people that did it better. And then at the same time, I know that if you ever get to receiving that praise too much and somebody keep telling you, man, that's good, you good, it's hard for you to receive that constructive criticism. So once again, just hearing the word constructive criticism can sound negative. Just because you are pointing out the negative in the situation. Now, just because I'm pointing out the negative flaw, because the flaw is negative. If I point out that flaw, it doesn't mean I'm always trying to be negative. Doesn't mean I'm always trying to be pessimistic. It means I'm trying to make your thing a more perfect situation, especially if I'm going to be the one patronizing, or if I'm really a friend.
Exactly. Let me go to K with the E. K with the E. What's on your heart? Kurt, coming to you next, brother. Are you there? Curtis, go ahead, brother. What's on your heart? You having an issue with a mute button?
Well, there ain't much to say. You know, I think everybody done said it all. I think we're beating the horse right now. You know, doing what I do for a living, I think that was Cap Leonard said something that really, really is very, 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 very extremely important. And that is understanding culture. You know what I mean? Like, and me and my significant other, me and my wife, we just had a conversation last night where I literally had to tell her, you know, listen, I really don't know what to tell you in this particular situation because this is a cultural dynamic here. And I am not as close as I am, as close as my heritage is to your culture. I have never had the opportunity, except when I lived in New York or New Jersey, to actually live in that space to where I'm guided by that particular culture. I've never had that opportunity. So, you know, it might do you better to get on the phone with people, with like-minded people, or people who have existed in that culture. See, sometimes you got to know when to give a suggestion that steers somebody to a greater path than the path that you can lay out for them. And it's okay. So you got to take you out of the situation. So a lot of times in communication, you better understand culture, because if you don't, you'll be the blind leading the blind.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's all I can say, bro.
Good deal. Toy, you with a T, anything on your heart, sis?
Hey, what about me?
Sorry for the darkness. Well, Raheem, as usual, thank you for another great show. Effectively communicating is something that is very important, whether we're doing a talk show, whether we're doing working with our family, working with our loved ones. And that's something we need to take in mind. You know what I'm saying? This conversation should open up the door for how different people perceive things and how perception is key from every direction of communication. And we should have also learned from this conversation that some things just don't work well with others, just simply by how you say it. Take down, tear down versus, oh, well, good structure, but we're going to have to break this all the way down and then do this, that, and third. You know what I'm saying? So it was just another great enlightening moment, as I appreciate, as always. That's why I always try to make sure I'm on. I thank y'all and love y'all so much. And yeah,
likewise, love you too, sis.
I'm gonna try to make that Cup of Jazz too. Keep reminding me about that. Okay.
Yes, yeah, y'all make sure y'all come out, man. We got it's live music, live jazz music. Well, live music. It's gonna be the 27th, Thursday, the 27th of this month. So I want all y'all to come out. We got early bird tickets. The early bird tickets are only $10. Only $10. So get some tickets, pass some tickets out, let people come out and have a good time. We're gonna have some great entertainment there. You're gonna be shocked at some of the people that's gonna be there. Y'all gonna have a fantastic time. It's called A Cup of Jazz. So if you all are not busy, on the 27th, Thursday evening from 8 o'clock until we probably get out there about 11:30, 12 o'clock. From 8 until 12, A Cup of Jazz, live jazz entertainment. Make sure y'all come out, have a great time with us. Keep Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah. Hey. Okay. Yeah. Hey, we can post that on Messenger because I haven't seen that
Okay.
flyer, right?
Yes,
I love
sir.
jazz. I love jazz.
Good deal. Looking for you.
You know, it's very nice what everybody's been saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be a case manager. I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker to, you know, or to pat somebody on the back or to address it. If I see a guy drunk or drinking in the bar and you want to get out there, I want to take his car keys. I'm saying you're drunk. You got a business drive. I don't hear excuses, you know, because I've seen what happens to drunk people drive and to people they kill or get killed, right? But now, I try to make people think. If what I say, if I don't make you think about it, you know, I don't want to say anything to you. I want you to think. I want you to I want to encourage you to challenge me. I don't encourage you to make character assassinations, make some pompous things, right? And then as far like I'm not a Christian, but I do read the Bible, and I refer y'all to Timothy 2, chapter 3. And to understand and meditate on it for a minute when you look at that and think inwardly. Now, outwardly, I think that we need to think about the things that are going on in the world. We keep saying I, how I feel, and my God, and God tell me this, God tell me that. And yet I don't hear anybody referring to, you know, the outward expression, right? How are you going to change the world with the community better for yourself? You know, me and my wife, we don't agree to it. She hear me on the show or shows like this, and she look at me like I'm crazy, right? She know how I think, and she know what she thinks. She don't believe what I believe in, or some things I believe in. But, you know, she said, why are you wasting your time on these things, right? I say, because people need to think. People need to act out, and act not react. And I've talked to our brother. I haven't talked to Brother Leonard, but I talked to to the other brother, my Indian white brother. And you know, and I hear, and I've been told that people don't like what I say. People get angry. Oh, angry people, right? And I told them, you know, I'm encouraged by that because they have listened. They know something, right? And they got to think about this. If they don't take it home and think about it, then why are they expressing themselves, right? Well, what they are expressing, what they're giving to the environment and community, you know what I mean? What's going to happen tomorrow? Is that community going to get any better? People going to stop killing each other? What's going to happen in the community? How are we going to better ourselves? Negative criticism? Look, if you're so perfect, you're God-like, then there's nothing negative I can say to you, right? That will resonate. But if you're not God-like and you're a man, you're going to have problems, and you're not perfect.
30 seconds.
Anything I say is going to be negative when I try to tell you to improve yourself or point out an issue you're going to disagree with me on. Like there's no black problem. And I understand what people say when we talk about the problems in the black community, which we don't do anymore, or I don't hear anymore, right? Or problems that could be better in the black community. Then other people may get offended after a while because we're talking against white people, right? But we look at certain problems, we point at them, and the problem they're looking at us, well, hey, why don't you take care of your own business, right? You know, and what I say is that we got problems collectively and individually. But our collectiveness and what's going on in the world and the community, if we don't use some of the positive speaking, positive emotions, right, to change that problem, people still dying, people still get hurt, and I've been there.
Gotta wrap it up, Ibrahim. Gotta wrap it up, brother.
Okay. Well, anyway, I hope everybody help to pray for the people, help the people that the tornadoes and the flooding and hurricanes that we're going around, in the last couple of months, right? Hope y'all reach out and try to help somebody.
Absolutely.
Do something constructively.
Absolutely. Let me go to Aaron. Aaron, what's on your heart, sis? I got some background noise trying to figure out whose line that is. I got some background noise coming from somebody's line.
Hey, well, I just unmuted just now, but I have to say, one of the things I like to live by is seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else you need will be added unto you. And I know this doesn't apply to everybody. So, Ibrahim, please forgive me if I mispronounce your name, but those of us who do know Christ, if we trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not unto our own understanding, and all our ways acknowledge him, God will direct our paths. We have a wonderful gift of the Holy Spirit, so we don't have to guess. We can use that discernment, or we can use that knowledge, if we want to call it that. But God will tell us how to address people, so that his purpose can be fulfilled, because he promised that he will work all things together for the good of those who love him and are called, and it's all going to be according to his purpose. So you guys, thank you so much for letting me come on here. Thank you for bringing back those good memories with rain days. What? Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a reunion.
Exactly.
And we the warriors that will be coming out soon. So that'll be great. And don't forget aaronsenigma.com, so we can be a blessing to our larger community. Okay. Thank you guys.
Now, Aaron, you know that we're here every day, Monday through Friday, so you don't have to be a stranger. You come right back. We're here from 7 until 10 every day, Monday through Friday. Well, we're gonna be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, because my wife and I, we're gonna be in Houston, Texas, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, coming back Sunday. So we taking a little mini vacation, just going over to Houston, hang out for a little bit. So Houston, we coming your way. We'll be in Houston Thursday, Friday, Saturday, coming back here Sunday morning. And so, but typically,
Right.
yes.
What part of Houston y'all going to?
We're going to be Badger. Badger. Let me see. What's the name of that street that we're gonna be on? Hold on for a second. The hotel is gonna be.
Don't tell your exact
Don't say all that. Don't tell everything.
That's awesome. I'm leaving for Houston Friday. I'm going to help my cousin. She's the only child, and the doctors gave her dad 2 months to live.
Wow. So you're gonna be there. You're gonna be there Friday.
By Friday night.
We're gonna be there Thursday. So give me a call. Let's get together, go have lunch or something like that. We'll get together, go have lunch or something like that. Let's definitely let's make that happen. Let's make that happen.
That's beautiful.
Okay, good deal.
Anybody traveling to Utah this week? I'm leaving today.
Wait, Sarah. You say you
Said
going to
anybody
Utah?
traveling to Utah this week? I'm leaving today. I'm coming back Wednesday.
Look, I promise you the answer to that question is no. I promise you the answer to that question is absolutely no. No, not. Promise you. But man, we're about to get out of here. Anybody got anything else you want to say before we get out of here? Anybody got anything on their heart before we get out of here?
Right. Yeah, right. When you go to communicating, I think first thing is know your audience.
Yeah.
Then you'll know how to kind of adjust. We got people from all walks of life, different backgrounds, different beliefs, and all that stuff. And we all can be constructive and continue to communicate, even though we're different.
Exactly.
And that's a good thing.
Good deal. Now I'm looking for each and every one of y'all that's in this area or that can come to this area on the 27th, Thursday the 27th. I'm looking for y'all a cup of jazz. I want all y'all to come out. I'm reaching out. I want everybody that's a part of the broadcast to be there. I want this to be a meet and greet for everybody as well. So come on out, man. Please come on out. Get your tickets. Early bird tickets, only $10. Only $10. Come on out. Let's have a good time. Yes.
When you gonna switch to a bowl? You always got a cup of something. When you gonna have a bowl or something? A platter?
If you give them a bowl, they're gonna get too full. They're gonna lay over and go to sleep. I don't want them to go to sleep. I want them to stay. I want them to go to sleep. I want them to stay woke. You know what I mean? That's the top. Stay woke. We got to stay woke. Mary, you there? Mary,
I am here.
Okay. Give me your last thoughts on constructive communication? Give me your last thoughts.
Well, I feel like you can only give it out, or be careful who you decide to have a conversation with, because not everybody is ready to receive. So that's all I got to say.
Basically, what you're saying is, can you smell what the rock is cooking?
That has nothing to do with it. At all.
I know it, baby. I know it. It just fit the conversation. You know, it fit. But listen, we're about to get out of here for today. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
If you missed today's show and would like to hear us see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Good deal. And Toya with a T, I'm going to take you up on your challenge. The show, the broadcast will start at 7:00 in the morning. I'm going to take you up on your challenge. Well, I heard you. 7:00 in the morning. Now, you make sure you be here, too.
What? No,
Yes.
Guest appearances start from 8 p.m.
Look at this. See how this thing works? Now, we're about to get out of here, but before we get out of here, you know, we got the way that we do this every day before we leave. There's something that we have to do. So let me do this right here. Willa!
Raheem! Let's go, Raheem.
Are you there, Willa?
I am here.
Good deal.
Raheem. I'm here.
Well, you know what, Willa? Let's go.
Hey,
Let's go,
Willa.
Raheem.
Before
Come
you
on,
pray,
come on,
Raheem, my cousin is on the phone. She's listening, the one in Houston. I said, they about to pray. You got to hear Willa pray. She said, okay.
Good deal. Good deal.
Honor, glory to God, babe. Give it all to him. Because we're going to his throne this morning, Kay. We're going to the throne of grace, all of us together on one accord. We're going to first ask God for forgiveness. That if there's been anything that we have said, anything we thought, anything we've done that has been displeasing to him in his eyesight, we're asking God for his forgiveness.
Yes.
We're going to your throne this morning with boldness, with confidence, with expectation. Father, we thank you so much for waking us up this morning. Father, you didn't have to do it, but you found favor in our lives and woke us up this morning. And for that, Lord, we say thank you. We thank you for the Holy Spirit that gives us the power that dwells in us, oh Lord. Father, we know that it's not anything that we do, but Father, we know that it's you that works through us. Lord, we're asking you, oh Lord, to keep allowing the Holy Spirit to be encamped around our lives. Father, I'm asking you to touch each and every last one on this line. Father, I'm asking for a renewed spirit in their hearts and in their minds. Father, I'm asking you to help those who've lost those things that you blessed them with. But more so, Lord, I'm asking you to touch their hearts for the salvation of their souls. Father, we thank you so much for what you do. I'm asking you to keep Raheem and his family safe. Touch each and every last one on this line. I'm asking you to answer their prayers. I'm asking you to teach and show them how to line it up with your will. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to give them directions and guidance and discernment. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to allow the word to be spoken of their lives. Father, you're bigger than cancer. You're bigger than suicidal thoughts. You're bigger than diabetes. Father, we believe that you're bigger than anything, and you can do anything but fail. Father, we trust you, and we trust no man, and we stand on your word. Father, we thank you, and we honor and praise you this morning. In Christ Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. Give glory to God.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord, and hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Glory to God.
Amen.
Now, Aaron, this is your first day with us. What you think? How we do? How you like the morning glow? Uh-oh. There you go. Can you hear me now, Aaron? Okay, we may have lost Aaron there for a second. Let me see. Okay, that's okay. That's okay, Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart before we get out of here? Oh, we done lost her too. So I guess it's just time for us to go. We done lost a few people, but that's good. It's been a great broadcast. And make sure that when you have that communication, you be mindful. Not only do you want to talk to other people, but you want to listen to what you're saying to them. Make sure you listen to what you're saying to. Make sure you're mindful of what you are saying to the people that you're talking to. Be very mindful for that, because you are responsible for your words. What do you say to that, Rico?
Yeah, you're very responsible for it. That's why I said earlier, you have to be mindful, of how you approach people. You got to make sure that you come from a humble and respectful place and that you're not frustrated. Sometimes we can be frustrated when we see dysfunction. And in the process of seeing dysfunction, we might get frustrated with the people that that's not listening because they just don't get it. So we have to ask ourselves if we are actually saying the right words. If we're communicating properly, because if we're not careful, I know I'm one of the worst at wanting to express myself a certain way, but not being able to use the right words. But I also let it be known that the words that I want to use can't come to me, but I'm coming from a good place.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And I also always try to, make sure you compliment and acknowledge the good and what somebody is doing before you start addressing the flaws. Because like I said, man, people can get in their feelings, start feeling you judgmental and don't want to communicate anymore because they look at certain words as being negative, or they don't know what certain words mean.
Exactly. So we're about to get out of here for today. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:16. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day, and please, please, please be blessed. Love you. Take care of each other, and I will see you tomorrow morning. God say the same.